This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Mix of clouds and sunshine for us here this afternoon. Quite a bit colder than we were yesterday. Bit of a north to northwest breeze. Temperatures climb up through the mid-40s this afternoon. Partly cloudy, cold tonight, mid-20s. Sunny skies, mild or close to 60 tomorrow. Temperatures continue to moderate as we head through the rest of the week. Wednesday, mix of clouds and sun, low to mid-60s. Sunny skies, upper 60s for Thursday. I'm meteorologist Ken Boone at the Weather Channel.
This report is sponsored by eBay.
Shop on eBay to get more for your dough on stand mixers. Or get more for your buck on tech and gaming gear. Get more and save more on premium brands with eBay's exclusive deals.
How to order from Takeout Central. 1. Go to takeoutcentral.com. 2. Choose from beer, wine, or over 200 restaurants.
Decisions.
3. Order delivery to your door, to your date night. Free delivery with code SUPPORTLOCAL.
Hey, it's Mark Starling from First News on 570 for my friends over at Casablanca Cigar Bar. And I got to tell you, this is my new spot for business and for pleasure. Sam, Brooke, and Jackie will make sure all of your cigar and cocktail needs are taken care of. They have a wide selection of the finest cigars in every price point, and their selection of spirits and craft cocktails will have your taste buds watering. So whether it's a smoke and a cocktail at their Biltmore Village location or just a smoke at their new retail location in Hendersonville that has a gorgeous back patio, Casablanca Cigar Bars has all the relaxation you need.
I've got a question for you. Do you have a car, truck, SUV that you want to sell? It could be an old junker. It could be a car you just bought. It could be a car somebody gave you. It doesn't matter. At Paramount Kia in Asheville, we want to buy your car. Give us a call, make an appointment, or simply stop by. It's fast, simple, and easy. And we'll make sure that you leave with the most money possible. Ash Valley Mall, ParamountKiaAsheville.com.
Your health means everything, so it's important to get the care you need when you're in pain. If you suffer with knee, hip, shoulder, or other joint pain, Western Carolina orthopedic specialists can connect you with a healthcare provider who offers treatments and solutions. Don't make your health wait. Visit us at westerncarolinaortho.com. That's westerncarolinaortho.com, or call 828-452-4131.
Christmas time is here, and I still need to get Mrs. Claus the ideal gift. My secret, Allen's Jewelry and Pawn. They have the best selection, especially when you're on a Santa budget. Mrs. Claus asked for diamond earrings, and Allen's has them starting at only $19.95. Plus, they have an amazing selection of jewelry at 50% off. That's more exciting than a plate full of cookies. Now put your list together to create wonderful Christmas surprises for your loved ones and fly down to Allen's.
Allen's Jewelry and Pawn in Asheville and Cherokee.
At Ingalls, we know the ever-present struggle of, what am I going to make for dinner this week? That's why we started the Ingalls Table. It's all waiting for you at ingalls-markets.com. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
This week at Ingalls, select sizes and varieties Starbucks ground or whole bean bag or K-Cup coffee, $6.98 each. Select varieties 20-ounce Dole canned pineapple, 4 for $5. And select sizes and varieties Keebler cookies, 2 for $5. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart.
Heather's moment has arrived, and you just hope all that training pays off.
Heather lays down her purchase, but Randy rings it up as slowly as he can.
Uh-oh.
Yep, she's looking at the cigarettes.
There's nothing good back there.
Heather's arm is in motion, but she just grabs the gum off the counter.
That's a slick move.
Even Randy tips his cap to Heather. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally wants you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
Sports Center. I'm Kevin Witt. To the Baltimore Orioles payroll for next season is expected to be around $37 million for the entire team, for 25 players. The Pittsburgh Pirates, $40.2. Max Scherzer is going to make $43 million next year alone with the New York Mets. Max and the Mets agreeing on a 3-year, $130 million deal, $43 on the AAV. That means the top of the Mets rotation next year, Jacob deGrom and Mad Max. Christian McCaffrey's season done. Placed back on IR today by the Carolina Panthers with an ankle injury. Mike McCarthy has popped positive, not going to coach Thursday night when the Cowboys visit the Saints on Thursday Night Football. That opens Week 13. First, though, we got to close Week 12. We do that tonight, Monday Night Football, 8:15 On ESPN, Seattle visits Washington. Caesars Sportsbook has the Seahawks as a 1-point road favorite. Lee Elder, the first black player to compete at the Masters, has died at the age of 87. Elder made his groundbreaking appearance at Augusta National back in 1975. This past April, was named an honorary starter alongside Jack Nicklaus and Gary Player.
Coming up Tuesday, we're reacting to Monday Night Football as two teams try to keep their playoff hopes alive. Plus, are we reaching the beginning of the end for Russell Wilson in Seattle? Tuesday morning, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max on ESPN Radio.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, two men, one journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit. Let's go! Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, The Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings. And Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different.
Oh, it's ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400, and the Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Thanks for taking us along with you everywhere you go. And, of course, you can see us live on the YouTubes. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on the live video. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, share it out with your friends as well. Join the House of Reprehensibles. You can do it all at thesportsocracy.com. We had a lot go on this weekend.
Yeah, it was. I mean, if we were lacking for content, yesterday gave us a lot.
You got the Michigan Wolverines doing that thing that they do of just inserting chaos among the college football playoff system. Ohio State falls, and of course, everybody's rallying around Jim Harbaugh, who's the smartest man in town now.
Can we just bypass the Heisman Trophy? Do we have to? Is there a rule that says we have to give this thing up?
It's still C.J.
Anytime
Stroud.
somebody, I don't know that it is. Let me rephrase that. I don't know that he would get my vote.
Okay, and that's fine.
I don't know who would get my vote at this point.
Yeah, that's
I might just write in Yosemite Sam and call it good. I don't know.
This is the masterful performance that he's pulled off for the best team in the nation, Stetson Bennett.
No.
That's your Heisman Trophy winner right there.
It.
Stetson Bennett for Heisman. Let's do this.
I will say this, though. Oklahoma State and the greatest mullet in all of college football is that close to crashing your little playoff party, and nobody's talking about it.
I don't think we're crashing. I don't think it's crashing at this point. I think they're in. I think they are in the top four.
Well, they have to win. They have to beat Baylor, which is going to be much more difficult than people think.
Mm-hmm.
But there is an entire possibility that you're going to have Georgia, Michigan, Cincinnati, and Oklahoma State. And every single one of the sponsors just went, oh, wait.
Oh, no.
Have you cashed the check yet? Can we potentially have it back?
Of course, college football playoff, all that talk is still to be had. All the, what's going to happen in championship week. We're going to do it all this week here in the Sportsocracy. We've got, of course, Lincoln Riley turning the football world upside down, as Jeremy put on the header for the YouTube video here.
Yeah, and poor Oklahoma. I would probably stop chasing Cliff Kingsbury about now and find somebody that's actually reasonably attainable.
No doubt. No doubt, because that's not going to happen. Other college coaching changes as well. We'll get into it here on the program. You got anything you want talked about, hit us up in the chat on the YouTube stream. That's the best way to get into immediate contact with the program here. We'll talk more about the NFL. We're coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We're going to talk about how can you fix the Carolina Panthers. Jeremy took his victory lap this morning on Cam Newton, just dunking on everybody. Oh, how was that fun for you? No, yesterday was not fun. For any Carolina Panther fan.
That's the only question I asked was, well, at least it's more fun to watch us now. Were you entertained yesterday? Because I don't believe that you were.
More bad news for the Carolina Panthers as well, as Christian McCaffrey rolled his ankle yesterday, and he's done for the year. MRI has revealed enough damage for them to say, you know what, it's not worth it. What are you going to do? So how do you fix the Carolina Panthers? We'll talk about that in the 4 o'clock hour. But first up, we got Monday Night Football tonight. Jeremy's picks coming up at the end of this hour in Greene on Greene.
The battle for playoff position.
It's playoff implications between the Seattle Seahawks, who currently have the 5th pick in the draft. Oh, wait, no, they don't. The New York Jets have that 5th pick.
That comes to us. We'll have that.
And the Washington football team. See, this is what happens. And yes, I'm calling out Max Kellerman on this one because he did the promo going into this here program and just said we'll talk about these two teams who are trying to rekindle their playoff hopes. There is zero playoff implication in tonight's Monday Night Football game. It is going to be the worst Monday Night Football game we have ever seen. I'm predicting it right now.
Oh, no, I'm not going to go that far.
Yes, because you know what? Tonight doesn't have that a crappy Monday Night Football matchup should have.
God, I know
the Manning cast. There's no Manning cast, so there's literally zero reason to watch this game tonight.
The Seattle Sea Chickens and the Washington to be determined. I have a better chance of headlining WrestleMania than either of these teams have of making the playoffs. As a matter of fact, I'm a big dude, so I have a better chance of headlining WrestleMania than either of these two. Oh, absolutely.
I don't know about that.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel like you'd be way down. And never mind. That would go on a tangent. We could go on forever. We're not going to go down that path. Let's talk about Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley decides to leave Oklahoma. Everybody, all the talk after it was announced yesterday that he's going to be leaving Oklahoma to take the USC job was, you see, he was so mad about that move to the SEC that he took this job. Bingo.
I disagree with you. That's not why he did this.
No, you don't think so?
No. Because here's the thing. I told you this before the show. You said, Oklahoma would be the 6th best program in the SEC. Cool. Let's play Family Feud. Name me programs in the SEC that are actually better than Oklahoma.
Georgia, Alabama, LSU.
Out.
Out?
Not even close.
Come on.
I don't think it's even close.
A program that has won multiple national championships since Oklahoma did. Is not a better program?
No.
Okay.
No, they're not.
You agree to disagree.
I just don't see it as a better program. You've had way more Ed Orgeron. Here's the thing. Think about what I'm getting ready to say. How many coaches has LSU made a run at? How many of them have flatly said, nope?
Mm-hmm.
Jimbo Fisher, Dave Aranda, all of them have looked at this job and gone, nope, not interested.
Yep.
And they're going to end up hiring somebody that does not make a whole lot of sense. I can't tell you who it's going to be right this second, but I can tell you the name Todd Monken keeps getting thrown out there. And I could argue that's not better than Go Tigers.
Okay.
Oklahoma, you're probably going to get whoever you want. Cliff Kingsbury, that's who you're after. Did you notice that he wouldn't say no? And you know why he wouldn't say no? Because Lincoln Riley looks like a schmuck right now. After after Bedlam, he says, I can guarantee you I will not be the next coach at LSU.
Yep.
And behind his back, he was going, just don't rearrange those letters. Because if you ask me about USC, we're going to have a markedly different answer.
Nobody was asking about USC. It felt like that came just completely out of nowhere. And USC apparently is backing up the Brinks truck. What did you say this morning? You heard it was 150?
10 years, $150 million. You'll never get an accurate on the contract because it's a private school and they don't have to announce that.
Right.
It's 10 years, $150 million.
Jeez.
And I want you to think about what I'm going to say. Mel Tucker just got 10 years, $95 million, every cent of it guaranteed at Michigan State. LSU offered $13 million to Lincoln Riley. Not even vaguely interested. I started hearing that story, of which, first of all, I have to say this. Before you retweet something, you should probably look at who it's coming from. Because I saw a tweet from somebody that worked at the LSU student newspaper about 500 times. Do you know how long it took me to debunk that? About 6 seconds. Hey, that true? Question mark. Nope. Good. Then we're done. No, it's not. It was never true.
Right.
But now, why did Lincoln Riley take this job? I'll give you 3 letters. And it should have been the tail number on the plane that went to pick him up. NIL. I am now the head coach in Los Angeles. USC has been the pro team in Los Angeles more times than you think. And they weren't particularly good for a lot of that. Take out the Pete Carroll years. In my lifetime, not coached by Pete Carroll, how many 10-win seasons does USC have? I was born in 1986.
5.
You're too high.
4?
Nope, you're wrong. Or I'm wrong. There was an outlier in 1988 that was on screen. It's exactly 5.
Yeah.
You don't have to be great at USC, and he knows that. Do you see how many California kids are decommitting from Oklahoma right now? Because it's a lot easier to get them to Los Angeles than it is to get them to Norman, Oklahoma. And he saw the writing on the wall. This is a job he can have until he dies. All he has to do is be Lane Kiffin good or better. And he'll do that by literally showing up.
I would agree with that.
Because all he has to contend with is Oregon. There's no LSU, there's no Auburn, there's none of these other jobs. You have to contend with Washington State and Oregon State and UCLA. And I have to beat Oregon. And I got news for you. If you're telling me I get Lincoln Riley, who's recruiting against Mario Cristobal, who I think very highly of, by the way. There's not a slight at him. That's the unhappiest person in America right now.
Yeah, because his domination of the Pac-12 just went out the window.
Yeah, and I got news for you. If the Miami job comes open and I'm him right now, I take it and I don't think about it.
Absolutely. I think the competition greatly had something to do with this. I mean, the LA thing and the NIL, great points. Great points. That's all positives of why he would want to go to LA. But being in the Pac-12 also helps. Because now you have Oregon. That's the only stiff competition that you have. Whereas if you were going to go to the SEC, we all know how rough and tumble that is.
But now you have to expand that out. You get a job in the Pac-12. We're, at best, a year away from that guaranteeing you inclusion in the playoff. At worst, we're 3 years away from it. You're going to get into the playoff practically every year at USC.
Yep.
Just by showing up. Because now you have a brand. That was what I always said about Clay Helton and Steve Sarkisian and all these guys that they have tried to hire over the years. Stop doing that. You have boosters that have jillions of dollars. Back up the Brinks truck and get the guy.
Yep.
And he's the guy. Lincoln Riley is the guy. And I heard so much just ridiculousness out of Oklahoma people. Oh, I'm glad he's gone. Are you? Are you really glad he's gone?
No.
Because there was a lot of John Blake between Bob Stoops and Barry Switzer. People seem to forget that. This was a step up. I saw a lot of people that didn't agree with that, and I can't for the life of me figure out why.
I can't either. To me, it's a no doubt step up. Oklahoma, great. You had control of the Big 12 for 5 years.
And now you go
there.
to the SEC, and I still maintain that's the third best program.
Okay. I'd say they're in a tight dogfight with Texas A&M to be the third best program in the SEC.
I can't agree with that. Texas A&M has been literally irrelevant for 30 years.
Yeah, but now they're not.
No, they're still pretty irrelevant. The money's not new. I hope you understand that with Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, the money's not new. It's been there forever. It just never meant anything because you're not a brand. And why does that matter? You remember those 3 letters I said a minute ago?
Yep.
NIL. You can throw all the money you want to at Texas A&M and Oklahoma State, and for a year, you'll be fine. Oklahoma State has a really impressive defense with one guy that I even consider to be draftable in this upcoming draft, and they're probably going to end up in the playoff. You can do that for a year. At USC, you can do it every year. Every single year.
Yep. And you can look at this any way you want to. I'm seeing the chats, the comments in the chat right now on the YouTube stream, thesportsocracy.com, by the way. Some say, well, it sounds like he's avoiding competition. Another person says, well, he's working smarter, not harder. Both of those things are true.
He's not avoiding competition. If this offer hadn't come along, Lincoln Riley would have been just fine at Oklahoma.
Sure.
He wasn't leaving to take the job at Mississippi State. I could argue this is one of 3 jobs he would have even considered. But it came open.
Mm-hmm.
And this was one of the things throughout the time with USC that I never could get a reach on. It was like the Mike Tomlin thing comes out. Okay, you're reaching awfully high to settle for Dave Aranda or James Franklin. And then everybody started, and this has been bugging me for a week, of there's somebody that's going to get, I never thought Lincoln Riley was going to take this job. I didn't necessarily think they were going to pay this much money.
Right.
But here you are. And I'm not going to be terribly shocked if LSU looks at this and goes, okay. Scott Woodward has been dead set on Jimbo Fisher from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
I won't be shocked if he gets more and winds up at LSU.
Really?
Because this is going to become an arms race. There are only a handful of coaches in college football that really move the needle.
Mm-hmm.
Jimbo Fisher's one of them. Lincoln Riley's one of them. Luke Fickell, he's not one of them. Sorry. Cincinnati's fantastic. You're beating nobodies. You're beating a lot of South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And M85 in our chat on YouTube just said exactly where I was headed with this. Urban Meyer. You want to know why Urban Meyer can do whatever he wants to at Jacksonville? He can run that team into the ground if he so chooses to. Because the minute he walked away, or the minute he even let on that he was willing to walk away, one of these other schools would back the Brinks truck up for him.
Right.
But what about the thing in the bar in Ohio? Nobody cares.
No.
Sorry, they don't, because there's only so many people that move the needle. There's only so many coaches in college football that can leave a program and half of the recruiting class is out in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They're not coming back. There's nobody you can hire here outside of maybe one that I think you could get these guys to reconsider.
Okay.
And it's what LSU, or it's what, in my opinion, it's what LSU should do. It's what Oklahoma should do. It's what Miami should do if that job comes open. There's one name. And there's one name alone that's still out there that is a brand like this. And after the break, we'll tell you who that is.
Right here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, high pressure taking over the forecast to close down November and kick off the new month of December, and some beautiful weather unfolding for us here across western North Carolina. Tonight will be the coldest night of the week. We're down to 26 degrees tonight, a little below average here in the valley, and some mid and low 20s with elevation. Tuesday, a little warmer, 58 degrees with sunshine, much warmer for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In fact, by Friday, we're talking 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. It's amazing because Discover is accepted at 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report limitations apply.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. St. Nicholas and my family. They'll all be here.
The holidays are coming, and so are the guests. Are you sure your home's ready? Let Over the Moon Cleaning Services do the heavy lifting for you. Right now, Over the Moon is offering Sportsocracy listeners 20% off a deep clean when you schedule bi-weekly or weekly cleanings. Call them today at 585-0146 and book a free estimate. 585-0146.
Put your business top of mind with customers this holiday season. iHeart Ad Builder is the cost-effective way to create a custom radio ad that can reach customers wherever they go. Answer a few questions online, and Ad Builder does the rest. Get started at iHeartAdBuilder.com.
Breathe easier in your home with Zero-Res air duct cleaning. You'd be surprised by the amount of dust and debris that's sitting in your duct system and circulating in your home. Zero-Res is the only company I trust to get my home insanely clean. Right now, when you mention ESPN Asheville, you can get $30 off your next air duct cleaning, plus 15% off filters and purifiers. Call today at 828-209-7000 or schedule online at ZeroResAsheville.com. Zero-Res, the right way to clean.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options things that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today. 828-333-9517.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with lots of sound effects. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need, here are some zany sounds. Saving on home insurance is no laughing matter. Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. The money you save could change your life. It's time for you to take your insurance choice seriously. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Here in Beer City, we take homegrown seriously. And since 2012, Wicked Weed Brewing has been pushing the boundaries of the industry. They've not only created staples like the Freak of Nature Double IPA, Lieutenant Dank, and Pernicious, but they also opened the first sour beer tap room on the East Coast. Wicked Weed has also supported our local community to the tune of $1.6 million with the Beers That Build program. Visit one of their 4 locations, schedule a brewery tour, or place an order for pickup or delivery. WickedWeedBrewing.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
Lincoln Riley is the new head coach at USC, and it leaves a gaping hole at Oklahoma. Lincoln Riley came in. Remember, he was the boy wonder who came in after Bob Stoops left. What are we going to do? Well, we got this Lincoln Riley guy that we really believe in. And what did he do? Over the next 5 years, he proceeded to take them to, 4 Big 12 championships.
And 3 playoff
and
appearances.
3 college football playoff appearances where they did not win a single game. Where they got beat by Alabama and Georgia.
And it mattered.
0 for 3.
And it mattered not at all.
Yeah, because he's not going to the SEC. He's going to the Pac-12 now. Where he can rule.
And I'll be honest with you, at Oklahoma, it shouldn't have mattered. It shouldn't have mattered. But now you're left with this big hole in your head coaching position.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep hearing, well, they should promote Alex Grinch. Stop talking.
Who?
They should go get Mark Stoops from Kentucky. Cool. You know what? That's your entire recruiting class. Bye. Just because he's Bob's brother. Okay.
Nobody's staying on to...
No!
To be part of the Stoops tradition.
Because who runs the offense? All right, Lincoln Riley had this high-paced offense that continuously had Heisman Trophy candidates. By the way, I want this on tape. Jackson Dart's going to win a Heisman Trophy, and he will be the number 1 pick in the draft. I thought that before Lincoln Riley got hired.
Okay.
I am convinced of it now. But his stats were terrible. Yeah, because he's being coached by me.
He'll hang on to that job even if Lincoln Riley is able to bring in the next future quarterback.
Doesn't matter. Jackson Dart's that guy.
Yeah.
He's that guy. I saw enough of him in very limited action with very, very little around him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're Oklahoma, there's one hire. You make the call, and I do not care what the number is. You want to stay relevant?
Yeah.
There's one hire. Because there's one brand left that's attached to not a brand.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lane Kiffin. That's the only call to make. Stop with Bob Stoops. Oh, he's the interim coach. He's also 60-something years old.
61. He's on the young side of 60.
Yeah, and he's fine. He's already said this. He's fine watching his kids play and doing the Fox analyst thing. And I'll be honest with you, at this point, Bob Stoops is not a brand.
No.
He's not. He's been out of the game for too long. You want a brand? You want these high school, these California kids and these Florida kids and these Texas kids to get excited about something? Lane Kiffin. You know why? Because he's all over social media trolling people and doing things like that.
Right.
That is why the Lane Kiffin brand exists. Because he does exactly what you have to do. And now you're Oklahoma, which is regionally, it's segregated off from the rest of the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in spite of what other people think, that does matter. Because you get kids that say, okay, well, I'm going to play 8 home games 1,000 miles away from where I'm from. Well, it'd be nice if a couple of our road games while I'm there are within the time zone of where I grew up.
Right.
That does matter. So you're going to have to get somebody that can recruit nationally, and there's just not that many of those. Lane Kiffin is that guy.
Lane Kiffin is the home run hire for Oklahoma, you say.
He's the only home run hire.
Okay.
I bet I've heard 20 different names attached to this.
Right, because immediately everybody goes to, well, who has connections? Brent Venables. He's been waiting on a head coaching job forever. He's obviously the
and
defensive.
He was at Oklahoma.
Yeah, the defensive coordinator for Clemson. He spent, 8 years, 9 years, something like that, as an assistant with Oklahoma before he struck out on his own and found, gold with Dabo Swinney at Clemson. He could be a good one. He could be a good head coach, but he's not the guy that's going to sell tickets. He's not the guy that's going to get recruits excited.
And that's the thing. I don't care about selling tickets. You're going to sell tickets at Oklahoma because you're Oklahoma.
Well, of course you will.
What I care about is who can keep my recruiting classes together. Who can sell Oklahoma as a brand? It's not Brent Venables. I can tell you that much right now.
Josh Heupel. He was a former Oklahoma quarterback, and man, if we could bring him in from Tennessee. I mean, hey, he even made Tennessee look relevant for a little while this year.
And here's the thing. He's a good coach. He's a good coach. And you know what the entire recruiting class would do when they see Josh Heupel? Cool. I'm going to go over here with Lincoln. I'm going to follow Lincoln to L.A.
Yep.
There is one guy that you can keep this house of cards together. And I have a funny feeling they're not going to do it.
Lane
and
Kiffin.
You better do it right now because Miami's trying to hire an AD before they make a decision on Manny Diaz, which me personally, I'm going, please take your time. Because I really do not want to have to see. Florida already, they did what they did. And that's fine. You hired Billy Napier, who's a good coach. If you think he's going to come into the state of Florida and out-recruit Mike Norvell and Kirby Smart at Georgia and Nick Saban, I got a bridge to sell you. But you be happy with your hire. He's a good coach. They'll be fired 5 years from now.
But if you're Oklahoma, you're looking at this going, we absolutely need to get somebody in here who can not only take over this group that we already have, get our current recruits that are getting ready to come in, stay excited, and somebody that we think can hold their own when we go to the SEC. Because it's going to be different. I mean, if you're under the impression that Oklahoma moving to the SEC, nothing's going to change, folks, I got a bridge to sell you because this is going to be completely different. Oklahoma's going to come in here and they are not going to be your every year run the table one loss team.
No,
it's going to be a struggle.
If you mess up this hire, you're Texas A&M very quickly.
Indeed.
You're a 3-loss, and you wind up in the Gator Bowl, the Outback Bowl.
Chuck G said it in the comments. Texas A&M's 8-4 right now in the SEC. You think somebody's going to back up a Brinks truck for Jimbo Fisher to be 8-4 again?
100% I do.
Really?
100% I do. LSU would give Jimbo Fisher whatever number made him feel warm and fuzzy.
Okay.
How many coaches in college football are better than Jimbo Fisher right now?
Oh, I don't know.
Because, see, he has one of these things that sits on his finger that not many people have.
Oh, yeah.
And
He's got a
can point
championship.
to that and go, hey, I did that. I did that.
You can, and
nobody else around me has.
Right. That's something you can never take away from him. He's a championship coach. He won it at FSU. We get it. But you going to pay him $15 million to come into LSU?
If Scott Woodward, I firmly believe this, because he offered Lincoln Riley $13 million. Jimbo, with the ties, the ability to recruit, already has the ability to just crush it in Texas. Yeah.
But you've got to be willing to make that sacrifice. You got to be willing to pay $15 million a year, and sometimes you're going to end up with 4 loss seasons. That's the way the SEC rolls.
And that's the point. That's the point. This right here is exactly why schools like Nebraska fell off the map 20 years ago. We're at a reset in college football that is very much like when the BCS showed up.
Okay.
The BCS showed up, and the schools that weren't willing to spend money fell off the table. I hate to say this, Tennessee, you're one of them. You kept going back to Philip Fulmer. He was the AD, and maybe we should just bring him back to be the coach. Or maybe you shouldn't, because it makes absolutely no sense. This is an arms race. College football, the landscape in this sport has changed completely in the last 2 years. And that, I would argue, if the name, image, likeness thing never happened, Lincoln Riley's still the head coach at Oklahoma. I would argue that, and I would argue it to the death. Because he knows it's too hard. There are no businesses in Norman, Oklahoma. I can sell to a 5-star kid out of California At Oklahoma, well, I could get you sponsored by a car lot. Bubba's Big Car Lot. They'll pay you $800 a year. Or in L.A., I can get Silicon Valley to sponsor you for something that doesn't even make sense.
Right. I mean, is it going to be easier in L.A.? Yes,
Absolutely.
It'll be easier in L.A. But here's the thing. He was already recruiting those SoCal kids to come to Norman. I mean, he had 3 of them all lined up to be on his team next year.
Right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling you, the Spencer Rattler thing, it also had something to do with this. Because they turned on him in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's not going to happen in L.A.? Jackson Dart's not going to get turned on. He's not.
Really?
Who's going to stop them? What do you think? Oregon State's all of a sudden just going to start sacking Jackson Dart 10 times? No! You're going to run through these guys like a hot knife through butter. You start stacking 5-star. First of all, Clay Helton couldn't recruit to save his life. He still has 3 first 2-day picks that he has recruited since he's been there.
Mm-hmm.
That's Clay Helton, who couldn't coach dead in the Western. What do you think Lincoln Riley's going to do out there? They'll be in the top 5 of recruiting every single year.
Mm-hmm.
Every year.
But you don't think there's room for failure at USC for Lincoln Riley?
To be honest with you, no.
Okay.
There's just not money like that in the Pac-12. Nobody cares. There are 2 entities in the Pac-12 that care. Don't give me UCLA. Their facilities are pathetic. And people that have been to UCLA will tell you the same thing.
Okay.
They're pathetic. They brought in Chip Kelly because Chip Kelly was a devalued asset.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's got them bowl eligible for the first time. I think it's the first time they've been bowl eligible in like 8 years. That's not happening to USC. This is a dark time in USC's history. And it's not about to, all of that is about to change.
Right.
And I'm just looking at certain programs in college football going, well, you're at a crux, and one of them has already failed this aggressively.
What's next in the head coaching carousel across college football? We'll talk about it up next. Let's get outside.
The Sports Tag.
Just a bit outside.
All right, here's the 411, folks.
You know, Baker Mayfield, he's a favorite punching bag of the sportsocracy, and he continues to be the favorite punching bag of, well, dads in the NFL. We had the Odell Beckham Sr. saga where he goes out and posts videos of how Odell Beckham Jr. was not getting all the good looks from Baker Mayfield. And now a new one has jumped out there. It's Kareem Hunt Sr. He apparently went on social media and said basically Baker Mayfield's scared. And everybody jumped on him. Oh, my God, here we go. We got another Odell Beckham Sr. on our hands. And I liked his response. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not trying to cause a rift here. All I'm saying is it's pretty obvious to anybody who knows football, Baker Mayfield is scared right now. He's hurt. He's not stepping into throws. He's all over the place, running for his life. He is playing scared. First off, hats off to Kareem Hunt Sr. for, having an opinion and a smart football opinion, because I agree with him 100%. Second off, maybe we need to back up on this whole thing. Like, I get it. You want your family to shut up. We've talked a bunch about Pat Mahomes' family. We talked a bunch about Odell Beckham Sr. These people can still have opinions. They can still talk.
Not for me. Not for me. What has this ever accomplished other than do exactly what you just did?
Mm-hmm.
This becomes a story at the bottom of the hour,
yep.
and on a sports show 800 miles away from Cleveland.
And what does it matter?
What good did it do? But what did it accomplish?
Mm-hmm.
It's just another person coming out against Baker. What good does that do? And I can't emphasize this enough. Why does anybody care what you think? This is one of those things that
because he has a following.
Because his son's in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. This is kind of like taking advice on what to buy from Kim Kardashian. I don't really understand that, and I never have.
Mm-hmm.
The dysfunction in Cleveland
but there's no,
is just
to me, there's no difference between Kareem Hunt Sr. doing this and us.
Oh, no, there's 100% of difference. We're not affiliated with the Cleveland Browns. There's a huge difference in that.
Mm-hmm.
Your son draws a paycheck from the team.
Mm-hmm.
There is a huge difference there.
I disagree.
I don't understand how you're not getting that. We're paid to give opinions by somebody that has nothing to do with the Cleveland Browns. Your kid plays for the Browns.
Mm-hmm. And you know what?
Coming from somewhere.
And if my kid played for the Browns, I would not hold back.
And what good would it do?
It's like every youth league football dad who has opinions for the coach, notes for the coach after the game.
Yeah, let me tell you something. As somebody that's coached those, they're real irritating.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
Like real irritating.
But you can't expect me not to be, not to be opinionated about what is going on with my son's football team.
I had a rule of if you have an opinion, you can say as much as you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say it to the kids. Because it just breeds this toxic culture of, okay, so what is the point of the coach? Kevin Stefanski's the one making this call. It's not Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Baker's playing because he gives them the best chance to win. So why does anybody care what Kareem Hunt's dad thinks?
Right.
I cannot for the life of me get that. And I cannot understand why players in the NFL have no ability to look at their family members and go, what good did that do?
Mm-hmm.
Did it make you feel better? Because it didn't help me in the least. Because now Kareem Hunt has to go in the locker room and go, well, about that. But, I mean, it tells you something that every person affiliated with the Browns has felt the urge to say this out loud.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean, and it's abundantly clear, but it's not helping a thing. It's comical to me that you don't see the difference between him and us.
Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah, and our opinion means nothing inside the walls. His could.
Kareem Hunt Sr.'s opinion matters.
His son's in the room. At the end of the day, that still makes this a little awkward. Like, hey, about my dad, that was fun. He said stuff. He's a crazy guy. Says what he thinks sometimes.
Baker, won't you stop playing scared?
Let's see if maybe this makes you understand it. Adam Black said this in our YouTube live stream. Does LeVar Ball's opinion have weight with you? It's the same thing. He's just louder and more consistent about it.
Yeah, no.
You don't find him to be more annoying than us? You don't think people around the Charlotte Hornets find him more annoying than us?
Oh, I'm sure they do.
There you go. There's the difference. Walked you right through it. Led you right to the door, walked you right through it.
And to me, it still matters.
Because I have no affiliation to LeVar. I have no affiliation with LaMelo Ball. None. His dad does. And he's all, and this would be the part that I would think about is where's that opinion coming from? Probably from things that Kareem has said. That's where that becomes a problem. Kareem Hunt hasn't told me a thing. I have two eyes and can watch Baker Mayfield be bad.
Right.
Now, his father, on the other hand, you might have talked about that over Thanksgiving dinner.
Right.
Hey, man, it'd be real nice if we had a quarterback that wasn't terrible 4 days later. That's the difference in those two things. Speaking of things that are a lot different now than they used to be, we may have a commitment from Arch Manning. Or we may not. A social media video broke out on Friday of Arch Manning laying on what appeared to be a couch, bed, something like that, with an attractive blonde girl sitting beside him.
Okay.
Who looked at him and said, "You ready to commit to Ole Miss?" Yeah. Well, that's an interesting recruiting tactic that I have never seen before. This went bonkers over the Thanksgiving holiday. And then Arch proceeded to go out and get beat 49-7 in the state playoff.
Oh.
He did score the one touchdown, though. And had a really nifty move at the goal line. He's really, really, really good at football. Many say his final 5 or top 5 are considered to be Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Clemson, and Ole Miss. And I got news for you. If Lane Kiffin leaves, you can call that a top 4.
So you said Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Clemson.
And there are 4 dark horses considered to be LSU, SMU, Tennessee, and Notre Dame. If he goes to SMU, I will fly around this building.
That's like
I will sprout wings and fly around this building before he goes to SMU.
The only way he's going to SMU is if he tears his Achilles or something.
Nope.
2 days before.
Yeah, still not. Still not doing that.
He has a Lance Harbor moment.
There is no shot he goes to SMU.
Right.
He is a phenomenal recruit.
Of course. Look where he comes from. But
I did find it funny that I'm assuming this girl's headed to Ole Miss. They have no idea who this girl is.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most shocking thing I've ever seen. In 4 days, nobody has been able to figure out who that girl is. But she did convince him to say out loud, yeah, I'm ready to commit to Ole Miss.
It's not going to happen.
And the rest of the family went, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Because he's still, 2023?
He is a 2023 commit, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So he is still 2 years. He's a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So he will have 2 more years of high school football left.
Georgia. That's a good school, I hear.
I don't like your chances.
Hey, Arch, you want to be a veterinarian? I have a heck of a veterinarian school.
Yeah, there was another fun little narrative. I don't know who put it out originally, but I saw it. It trended across the social media universe that now that David Cutcliffe has mutually agreed to part ways with Duke, that some of these high-end schools should be looking to bring in David Cutcliffe as an offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
I got news for you. That's not going to sway him. This kid has the world by the tail. He can go wherever he wants. I don't think your uncle and your 2 uncles' old coach is going to sway you.
No. What's going to sway?
David Cutcliffe is a really bright guy. I don't believe that's going to be what gets him to commit to you.
Right. No. It's whoever's going to build the best program around me.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to make me look better? And by that time, it could be USC.
Oh,
he could go out to play with Lincoln Riley.
Oh, you talk about people's heads just exploding. Arch Manning goes to L.A.
Oh, gosh, he can't leave the South. Yeah, sure he can.
No, he can go anywhere he wants to.
Mm-hmm. He's got a blank check.
Oh, yeah.
Because that NIL money.
Oh, he's the one I can't wait to see the numbers on him. What does it take to even talk to him? The minute he signs a letter, a commitment letter, what does it even cost to talk to him?
$200,000.
Oh, it's 7 figures. I mean, you will not get this kid's ear for less than $1 million.
Really?
No way.
Really?
No. This is going to be one of the most hyped recruits in the history of college football.
Mm-hmm.
And his last name's Manning. So.
Yeah, and hell, by that point, he could be making more than his head coach.
Very possible. Unless it's Lincoln Riley, who's making a great amount of money. I don't think he'll make that much.
It's going to be tough. That's going to be tough. So over the weekend, we did have several names removed, so we feel, from the college coaching carousel. James Franklin announcing that he has signed a 10-year contract extension, $75 million with Penn State. And I checked on this earlier. The original report was that there is a $12 million buyout on that contract before April 1st of next year. So, I mean, could somebody pay that? Sure.
You're not saying that you would be vilified forever.
Of course not, because look what just happened. Look at what happened after they lost to Michigan State this past weekend. Did you see the reactions from everybody in Happy Valley? Maybe we should have waited until after that game, because now we've got 2 500 seasons in a row in conference play under James Franklin. Maybe we should have waited to sign that contract extension to see how this year panned out. Didn't really go his way. But it looks like James Franklin's going to stay at Penn State. Dave Clawson, undisclosed contract extension with Wake Forest. I would love to know.
Private school, and they have 2 high-end boosters. I will bet you that number is way higher than you think it is.
I would love to know what the number is on that contract to get him to stay away from he was mentioned in the Virginia Tech opening.
That's the only one Florida, he was a way down the list target at Florida.
And I'm sure his name probably would have came up in the Oklahoma race and all of that.
Oh, no,
his
Dave
name would have been thrown around.
That's not where Oklahoma's going.
I'm not saying that's where they're going. I'm saying his name would have been included.
I don't agree with you. At least it shouldn't have been. Then again, he makes more sense than Brent Venables does. So.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, he makes infinitely more sense. Brent Venables, to me, is, and I like the guy. I think he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to run your offense? Because that's what Lincoln Riley, was recruiting, was high-end offensive talent.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm going to bring in this receivers coach from Clemson. Okay, Seacrest out. I am out on that.
Dave Aranda, he's apparently signing an extension. Well, there is an extension on his desk.
He's staying at Baylor. He basically came out and said, I'm very loyal to Baylor. They gave me my opportunity. I had waited a long time for this, and I am loyal to Baylor. If he was going to leave anywhere, it was going to be LSU. I've heard they may not have offered as much money to him as you think.
That's an interesting wrinkle.
Money always talks,
mm-hmm.
and I don't think they offered as much to Aranda as they had to.
So maybe he was offended by the amount of money.
Not going to say it was offended. I mean, there's a price on everybody. I mean, loyalty's all well and good, but if you come with a blank check, there's a number eventually that will make you a little disloyal.
Oh, yeah.
And that just never happened.
Yeah.
So that's been the weird thing about this, is that there's been a lot of names come off the table and not a lot of new ones come on it. I will say this, though. I am 99.9% sure Jamie Chadwell will be the new head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies.
You got an insider source on that.
I do have an insider source. They have never broken anything through me before, so I'm hoping for the best, but they are dead convinced that Jamie Chadwell will be the new head coach of Virginia Tech.
Which makes a lot of sense.
It does for a multitude of reasons.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Jamie Chadwell has to leave Coastal Carolina. Yeah. This is the Billy Napier rule. Coastal Carolina has two first 2-day picks coming out in this next draft, in Grayson McCall and Leidy, the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
When you lose your best players, you have two choices. You can either move on and strike while the iron's hot, or commit to being a Coastal.
Why would you
forever.
want to? Why would you want to keep recruiting at that level? That's my question. Jamie Chadwell has done as well as he's ever going to at Coastal Carolina. It's never going to get better. He's never going to have. He may never have another undefeated season. They may never be.
Well, you're probably never going to have another Grayson McCall.
Right.
He's the best quarterback in program history by leaps and bounds.
Right. I remember last year we were talking about them as this group of 5 champion outside shot to get into the playoff. If that's the way everything broke, that's probably never going to happen again. You got to go up. You got to take the next step. Jamie Chadwell taking a job in the ACC makes absolute sense to me.
Rob Johnson mentioned in our live stream that Marcus Freeman's name has not been brought up. Oh, it has. He was sitting around waiting to see if that Cincinnati job was going to come open. It now very much appears that Luke Fickell is going to stay at Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
His connection to Bone, the AD at USC, that always made it make the most sense. None of these other jobs really make sense for him. He's a Midwest guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Marcus Freeman was the defensive coordinator at Cincinnati. I have heard that is the job he wanted, and now he's more open to.
I've seen his name thrown out
at Notre Dame.
I've seen his name thrown out in connection with the Oklahoma job.
Yeah, that's another one that makes zero sense. You are not going to get a first-time head coach at Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's Alex Grinch, at which time I will laugh a lot.
So the question, Billy Napier becomes the new head coach at Florida. Jeremy shared that with us a week ago. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, Florida things, I don't tend to be wrong much.
But what's next? Duke's in a search for a coach now. David Cutcliffe, he's gone after 14 years. They mutually parted ways. Of course, that was the discussion of, hey, you know what? You should probably do this. And he's like, yeah, you know what? I probably should.
Yeah, this is not a lot of fun going 2-10 and being just completely outclassed by practically everybody we play.
But there are a lot of names floating out there for the Duke job. And I don't see them getting a big hire.
No, they're not.
This is going to be a Will Healy.
Will Healy's the name I keep hearing, and I'll be honest with you, that would be a home run.
Will Healy from Charlotte. You got Mike Houston at East Carolina. That would be a move that he could make, or that would make sense in his career trajectory.
See, to me, it wouldn't make sense.
Why?
I don't think Duke's a better job than East Carolina right now.
That's crazy.
They don't spend money like that.
Mm-hmm.
This all ties back to money. Never forget that. The money is – East Carolina spent a ton of money to get Mike Houston.
But are you ever going to get any national recognition?
No, but that's not the next step up. East Carolina and Duke are I would say they're on par with each other at worst. Oh, Duke's in a bigger conference. Yeah, and they're the 13th best team in that conference.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to change. Georgia Tech spends infinitely more money on football than Duke does, and they're 12th.
David Cutcliffe won a division championship there. Maybe.
And was it sustained success, or was he good for 3 of his 14 years?
Yes.
There you go.
That's exactly.
So why would you want to tie yourself to a job like that? Mm-hmm. It's just like the Napier thing. I fully understand why Billy Napier took the Florida job. What I don't understand is why Florida settled for Billy Napier.
Yep.
He's a great coach. I just feel like you jumped a step in line.
Every list I've seen for Duke also has Bill Clark mentioned, the program builder at UAB. He was the guy that took the job, and then they shut down the program and then brought it back a year and a half later.
He's a great coach.
I've seen him in line for the Duke, or going to be interviewed for the Duke job, and there's one other name. Old Bob. Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien's not taking the Duke job.
No, he ain't taking the Duke job.
I firmly believe Bill O'Brien's going to be the next head coach at LSU. That has turned in the last 96 hours.
I thought it was going to be Florida that landed Bob, but if he goes to LSU, it would make a lot of sense as well. We got the Greene on Greene picks of the night coming up next right here on ESPN Asheville.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Xfinity Flex is going all out this November. We're talking exciting premieres, action-packed sports, music, and exclusive free shows. Are you ready? We're serving up awesome live sports from Peacock at no extra cost. Epic premieres like The Harder They Fall on Netflix, and free entertainment from Starz, Zumo, and more. The excitement doesn't end there. Turn up the music with iHeartRadio's Sweater Weather playlist to get the good times going. We're going all out, all in one place with Xfinity Flex. Just say fall calendar into your voice remote.
Ho, ho, ho. Christmas time is here. Shh, I've got a secret. Allen's Jewelry and Pawn. Allen's has diamond earrings for Mrs. Claus starting at $19.95 and fine jewelry up to 50% off. They have the best selection for everyone on your Christmas gift list.
Allen's Jewelry and Pawn in Asheville and Cherokee.
At Ingalls, we're proud to partner with UNCA Athletics to bring you the very best of Bulldog sports. And we're also proud to bring so many great game day options to the blue and white faithful, like the best meat in town, crisp fresh produce, ice-cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for the homestand, we've got you covered. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of the UNCA Bulldogs.
Only Wendy's serves a better breakfast with a better biscuit. Our hot buttery breakfast biscuits are loaded with a fresh cracked egg, cheese, and your choice of bacon or sausage. And right now at Wendy's, they're only $1 each.
Wendy's breakfast biscuits, just $1.
So don't take a chance with those other guys. Bet your buck on a better breakfast with Wendy's bacon or sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo. Excludes honey butter chicken biscuit.
Ready or not, Christmas starts now. Right now. While Santa and his elves are hard at work, you can play iHeart Christmas Radio. 100% Christmas favorites, commercial free. Download the free iHeart app and take iHeart Christmas Radio everywhere you go. Or listen at home on your smart speakers. Just tell Alexa to play iHeart Christmas Radio on iHeartRadio.
Hello.
iHeart. Discover music, radio, and podcasts you'll love.
iHeartRadio.
Office that closes on.
Get them the money. Then when you get the money, you get the power.
That watch costs more than your car.
Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
A great week in the NFL. A winning week for me in the NFL as I beat Asheville Police Chief David Zach and Tank. We look to continue that will continue the winning ways going into Monday Night Football. I got 2 picks for you in the NBA and the Monday Night Football game. First, the Chicago Bulls are a 5-point favorite at home tonight against the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte is not very good on the road. I have noticed this over the course of the first month of the season. Charlotte's really hard to beat at home. They're not particularly good on the road. And Chicago, they're very good at home. And they're very good, very talented. I think they missed this line by a little bit. Give me Chicago -5. Oklahoma City is a 2-point dog at the Houston Rockets. I am going to be really honest with you. If the Oklahoma Sooners were playing the Houston Rockets in Houston, they might possibly be a 2-point dog. Oklahoma City is markedly better. Houston is dog water.
But they just beat Charlotte.
I don't care. You remember the thing I said about on the road? It's where the whole thought there came from. Houston's terrible. Give me Oklahoma City +2. Tonight, Monday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks travel cross country to take on the Washington football team.
With playoff implications.
Not quite. Washington is a 1-point dog. Over-under is 47.5. This game's going to be gross. I'm going under the 47.5 aggressively. I think Washington's going to win this game. Russell's still hurt. Cross country, give me Washington and under 47.5.
Go and do likewise, gents. The money's out there. You pick it up, it's yours. You don't, I got no sympathy for you.
Do we have a monkey knife fight tonight? Go to monkeyknifefight.com and use the promo code TANK. Set up your account today, make a deposit, and they will match it up to $50 and give you a $5 free play just for using our promo code TANK at monkeyknifefight.com. That's TANK. What's the play of the night?
I'm under the 47.5, but I feel like Monkey Knife Fight's trying to give you free money. I am playing the more or less 3.6x multiplier between the Washington football team and the Seattle Seahawks. I will take more than 240.5 passing yards for Taylor Heineke and more than 240.5 passing yards for Russell Wilson. These are 2 pretty bad defenses. I don't think there's going to be a lot of points, but there could be a lot of yards. Mm-hmm. That will turn your $20 buy-in into a $72 prize.
monkeyknifefight.com, daily fantasy sports props. Whole lot of fun to be had there. We will be talking about how you're going to fix the Carolina Panthers coming up next.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, high pressure taking over the forecast to close down November and kick off the new month of December, and some beautiful weather unfolding for us here across western North Carolina. Tonight will be the coldest night of the week. We're down to 26 degrees tonight, a little below average here in the valley, and some mid and low 20s with elevation. Tuesday, a little warmer, 58 degrees with sunshine, much warmer for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In fact, by Friday, we're talking 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Mucinex 12 Hour. Did you know that doctors use Mucinex? That's right. Mucinex is the #1 OTC brand doctors trust for themselves and their families. So with cold and flu season upon us, why would you use anything else? Grab Mucinex and put yourself back in control. Available at CVS.
Unjoke your sleep at Mattress Firm's Cyber Week sale and wake up a better you. Shop in-store or online and save up to $500 when you get a king bed for the price of a queen or a queen for a twin. Plus, get a free adjustable base with qualifying Sealy purchase up to a $499 value. Or save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic, the most highly recommended bed in America. And you can shop with confidence thanks to our low price guarantee. Unjunk your sleep, only at Mattress Firm. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. See details at mattressfirm.com.
Shop on eBay this holiday season to get more for your dough on stand mixers. Or get more bling for less cha-ching on jewelry. And on eBay, you can even get more Cyber Monday steals on this season's hottest tech and gaming gear. You can get more because you save more on premium tech brands with eBay's exclusive Cyber Monday deals. Get more when you get it on eBay.
Friday Health Plans is designed for people who buy their own health insurance with benefits like unlimited $0 primary care and mental health visits in person and online. Financial aid available. Get a quote at FridayHealthPlans.com. All plans issued by Friday Health Plans of North Carolina, Inc.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fair, WNXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
Baseball this afternoon, and it's on top of the Max Scherzer deal to the Mets. AL Cy Young Award winner Robbie Ray and the Mariners are finalizing a 5-year, $115 million contract, according to ESPN's Jeff Passan. There'll be an opt-out after year 3. As for Scherzer and the Mets, he gets 3 years, $130 million, $43 million per, with an opt-out after year 2. Christian McCaffrey's season is done. Placed back on IR today by the Panthers with an ankle injury. Steelers put TJ Watt in the COVID-19 list. Speaking of which, Mike McCarthy pops positive. Not going to coach Thursday night for the Cowboys when they visit the Saints. History is going to be made Saturday at the SEC Championship game for the first time since October 3rd, 2015. Alabama is going to be an underdog this week. 6.5-point dogs against the Georgia Bulldogs, according to Caesar Sportsbook. This ends a record run of 92 straight weeks as favorites. College basketball, brand new number 1. It's the Duke Blue Devils. They get 51 out of 61 first-place votes. It's number 2, Purdue. Number 3, Gonzaga. Number 4 is Baylor.
Step up your creativity now during Dell's Cyber Monday event with savings up to $300 off, including deals on the latest PCs with Intel Core processors, shop laptops, monitors, and more. Plus, free shipping. Call 800-BUY-DELL. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets and Wicked Weed Brewing.
It is the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Green's alongside, as always. And, of course, we are in the Ingles studio, and the second hour of the program always brought to you by Wicked Weed Brewing. Check them out at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, drink different. This morning, the Sportsocracy started off with old Smirky McSmirkerson, Jeremy Greene, taking his victory lap over the horrible, awful, no-good day that Cam Newton had yesterday with the Carolina Panthers. And all the Panther fans in the world are so upset with Matt Rule and Joe Brady that, our coaches are just so stupid. And, yep, and now you find out that Christian McCaffrey's not going to be back for the rest of the year. Not that he was a great big piece of this team or anything. Here's the thing.
It
just gets worse.
I feel like this was incredibly predictable. And I could say that because I predictabled it. It never made any sense. You're going to bring in a quarterback that has no affiliation to this coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to think that that's not going to happen. First of all, on the road, you go on the road against a team that, for whatever you think of Miami, Tua Tagovailoa looks a lot better. He wasn't great yesterday, but he was very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
27 to 31, it's fine. You know what Cam Newton was? Bad. You can put this on Matt Rule. You can put it on Joe Brady. You can put it on the offensive line. You can put it on the defense. You can put it on whoever you want to. Cam Newton was bad because Cam Newton is bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be one of those mistakes where you have set money on fire. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to compound the error, which is exactly what it would be if you try to bring him back? Or do you look at the fan base and go, here's what happens when you listen to the fans. You usually end up sitting with them pretty soon.
Mm-hmm.
I will never believe that Matt Rule, Joe Brady, or Scott Fitterer were on board with the Cam Newton thing. I don't care what report comes out. I don't care what any Panthers beat writer says. You will never convince me of that. Ever. I know enough people in this league that tell me this is a horrid idea.
Mm-hmm.
It would be one thing if it was going back into a Scott Turner offense that he knew. This was always a predictable outcome. So now the question is, what do you do? Because there are still parts of this team that I think you should feel pretty good about. The McCaffrey workload, that's always not made any sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Giving any running back, giving them 20-plus touches a game is a bad idea.
And this is where you end up. You eventually run their legs off, and they can't stay healthy. And that's where Christian McCaffrey is right now. He played 3 games last year. He played 7 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
And did you really get your $16 million worth or whatever the heck his contract is now? No. And you're just hoping that we can shut him down and just fire him back up next year. That's a lot of wishing and hoping.
The McCaffrey thing, you are where you are. You've already given him the deal.
Of course.
So you can, no matter what you think about him, you can cry for spilt milk all you want to. He's going to be a part of this offense.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's a question of what do you do? And now we can have an adult conversation, whereas 3 weeks ago I looked directly into that camera and said, give it time.
Mm-hmm.
Give it time. You can spit in the face of how this league works all you want to. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, by the way, if you're not following us on the YouTube, there are cameras now, and you can see us. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click on that live video.
So now the question is, what do you do? I feel like you have pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Hassan Reddick is a piece.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going to have to re-sign him. Brian Burns is a piece. Derek Brown is a piece. Stephon Gilmore, I would say that's probably...
I don't know.
Going the way of the dodo bird.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a re-sign.
He wants big money, and do I think there is an appeal to having him with J.C. Horn, and J.C. can be the two and learn from... I think there's an appeal to that. Is it what I would do? No, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm probably not going to give him what he wants because he wants one more big payday, and he wants to compete for a ring, and I get it.
And he's not going to do that here.
But at the end of the day, you still have... You have offensive pieces. There are a lot of things to like here. But you have two huge things that you have to address, and you have to address them immediately.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line is the biggest one because the line is a joke. The line is bad, and it was incredibly predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Cam Irving, how many teams have tried to do that? I will never for the life of me understand why teams think, oh, this will work in our scheme. Well, it's failed in 5 others, so it really doesn't make a lot of sense to me as to why you think it's going to work with you.
Mm-hmm.
I understand schemes are different. Some guys are scheme fits. I get that. Followed Cam Irving for quite some time. It never made a lick of sense to me.
Right.
The good thing for Carolina, you're still going to have a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
You just are. I mean, you look at the schedule moving forward, Carolina has got a rather ugly trek through the world. You got the Falcons this week, or 2 weeks from now, excuse me. Then you go at the Bills, Bucks, at the Saints, at the Bucks. Ooh. I would say at worst, at best, you finish 6-11.
Mm-hmm. But what's the best way to rebuild this offensive line? To me, that's where you start.
That's where you have to start. You have to have a left tackle. This team has not had that benchmark piece since Jordan Gross.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason if you look at every really high-end team in this league, you know what they all have? A cornerstone left tackle. Because if you have that one guy that can match up with the premier edge rusher, it takes a lot of the pressure off.
Yep. And how are you going to get one?
There are a couple in this draft. There are a couple to me in this draft.
Yeah, I think the draft is the best way to do that.
And this is what I think is. I can say this 3 weeks after the Cam Newton thing happened, because now, after you've watched it implode twice, maybe you're willing to listen to what it is I'm getting ready to say. Your best choice, your best chance at quarterback to be relevant in the next 36 months is still Sam Darnold. It's still the same person it's been the entire time. It's still the guy you put 3 draft picks into.
Yeah.
And I hear you laugh. What's your other alternative?
I laugh because I know what the response is right now from people that are listening to their radios. They're listening to 92.9 FM and their iHeartRadio app, and they're going, "Oh my God, with Sam Darnold." Yes, with Sam Darnold.
Because what's your alternative?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go through them. Russell Wilson. What? Because he played college football here? But because he played at NC State?
And he has a relationship with Scott Federer.
Okay. I hate to break this to you. The difference between Carolina right now and Seattle is fractional. It's fractional at best. If Russell Wilson's going to leave, it's going to be for one of two things. Either a big market, because he is married to a celebrity, so there is something to that. I don't usually put a lot into that. Aaron Rodgers is not exactly in a big market. I think he does just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody posted there was a report that he was going to the Giants.
The Giants are ready to make a blockbuster offer. Okay.
Are they going to put a line in front of him?
That's fine. It's okay. The Giants want to. That's fine. They have 2 top 10 picks. Yeah, that's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
And Carolina. All right, let's be real honest. And I'm going to put every one of these guys into a big old pot. Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers. Let me put all these guys in one pot. You are not close enough to give up the draft capital it will take to get those guys. You're not. Because it would probably take every first-round pick you have for the next presidential term to get 2 of the 3. And the other one has no interest in you. He doesn't. Deshaun Watson is going to fetch 3 first-round picks. Houston has not sat on this for a year to take less.
Yep.
They have bought time. And so the offer on Deshaun Watson is going to be insane. That takes out all of the trade kit, unless you're ready to go Teddy Bridgewater again or something of that nature.
We've already
which
been down
I
that
still
path.
maintain is not better than Sam Darnold, who I, again, feel like I have to say this for the umpteen billionth time, is 24 years old.
He just looks so bad.
The other alternative, and I'm not disputing that. Your Superman looked markedly worse yesterday than Sam Darnold ever did. Your other alternative is through the draft. I'm going to level with you. I've already broken down the quarterbacks. I've got them rated 1 to 30. There's not a guy that's going to come in and immediately be a day one impact guy. Kenny Pickett, sure. What is his ceiling? Mac Jones. That is the best he could ever be. And you don't have that kind of system. The defense is good. I'm not disputing that. It hasn't been particularly good the last 2 weeks. But the defense is still good. None of these things have changed. You made a mistake. Now, what brought about the attitude from me was the response. How many times I got called an idiot? All of those people were very quiet yesterday. It is shocking. I did not get many at Jay Greene ESPN on Twitter. I didn't get many, hey, I was wrong about that. Hey, maybe you're not an idiot. Maybe, the fact that you do know people in this league, maybe, just maybe, you might know a little bit about what you're talking about. I didn't get a lot of that. And that's fine.
No, you're not going to.
And that's fine. I don't care. At the end of the day, you have to make the best of this situation. The Cam Newton thing to me never made a lick of sense. It still doesn't make any sense.
It got people excited for a week.
And then what?
And then you lost to the Washington football team.
You dropped one game that I don't think you would have lost with Sam Darnold, and you got slaughtered on the road by the Miami Dolphins. Do I think that there would have been a ton of discrepancy here? No. Because your offensive line's broken. So how do you fix it? You stop trying to jump steps. I have gone back for 20 years trying to find a team that has done a rebuild like this where they jumped a step and it worked. I found one. It was the Denver Broncos with Peyton Manning. That is the only time I have ever seen that work. And I could argue they didn't really jump a step. They just went and got a quarterback and put him on an already really good team that had a bad quarterback situation.
Much like Denver finds itself in now. Weird
how the world just tends to go in a big old circle.
But they can add. That's a team that can add the quarterback and be an immediate contender.
And I'll be honest with you. If I thought you were alluring enough, your receivers are fine. I like DJ Moore. I like Robbie Anderson. Obviously, I like Christian McCaffrey. I think you're paying him too much money, but I said that from the jump. The injury didn't change that.
Yeah,
for
you're
me.
stuck on that.
You are where you are. But, I mean, do I think drafting Malik Willis or Matt Corral into this? No, it's the same thing. I was asked this yesterday. If Sam Darnold was in this draft class, where would he fall? And you know what the answer is? 1. 1.1. It's exactly where he would go. And he's 2 years older than most of these guys.
Then you have to ask yourself the question, is this the coaching staff to make him work? Is Joe Brady the answer, which he could very well be gone?
I got news for you. With what you put on the field yesterday, you could have Bill Belichick as your head coach, Bill Walsh coordinating the offense, and you could have Bill Parcells coordinate the defense, and it wouldn't have mattered.
But is drafting a left tackle, is that going to be enough? You're going to have to spend money in free agency.
And
you're going to have to try to go get somebody.
Ton, but you have some.
Yeah, they got
You can
$30
go get a
million.
guy like a Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. I cannot say this enough times. Avoid Evan Neal like he is on fire. But you do you. Alabama is a school that I've had an alarmingly high hit rate with. I've got tape from the Auburn game that makes me think, I don't really see why people are so in love with you, but okay.
Right.
There are several players on that Alabama team to be in love with. I just do not understand why that is one of them.
Look, I've been going through and I've been trying to figure out, like, is there going to be somebody on the open market in 2022 that you could go in and bring in? You got Matt Paredes. You got to make a decision on him.
And Paredes is a good center.
So you would bring back Paredes?
Absolutely.
All right, you bring back Paredes, you slot him in at center.
Does he have injury issues?
Yeah.
Yes. I got news for you. The free agent market, see, this is one of the reasons that people like me just, blood starts coming out of my ears when people start asking me, what free agent can we sign? Free agency in the NFL is a lot like shopping at a Goodwill. I'm not saying you can't find things at a Goodwill. You can find things there that probably shouldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, they're, it'll work for a while, and there's nothing wrong with Goodwill. But at the end of the day, you're not buying Louis Vuitton at Goodwill. You're just not. And that's what people think, is that you can just put these sure fixes. Be really honest with yourself about something. The Los Angeles Chargers spent a ton of money on their offensive line in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
How much did it help? You still think that line's good? No, you have a left tackle that's really good.
Yeah.
You know why? Because you get one crack at these guys. It's in the draft. High-end players do not wind up on the free agent scrap heap very often.
Right.
It happens. It absolutely happens. It absolutely happens. But it's not that common.
Right. Is a left tackle the only thing that they need? They've got Moton.
It would change a lot because then you would have the bookends. You've got Paredes. I still cannot believe Brady Christensen is not playing for this team. And I think he's going to. I think at some point you just have to go, you know what, we put draft capital in this guy, and maybe every draft person from Mel Kiper to me that told you he was a guard, maybe, just maybe you should listen to that. Slide him in there. Just see how it works. Just humor me. Just humor me. You're playing out the string here. You're not going to the playoffs. I think no matter how you are, you know that.
Right.
Because you're not beating the Bucs twice and the Bills in Buffalo. So hopefully we've gotten past that delusion. Stop trying to jump in line.
Yeah.
I think anybody that is being really honest with this, do you remember when Cam left the first time? You can't look at this team and not say you're in better shape right now.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. Brian Burns was a good draft pick.
Absolutely.
Derek Brown was a good draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a slew of more. You know what you need? More of those. The problem is that you gave up 3 quality picks for Sam Darnold. And so now you have to make chicken salad. You finish the, I can't personally.
Right.
And out of chicken excrement.
Exactly.
That is how I can finish that.
But Deontay Brown, he looked really good before he got hurt.
He's a guy that I liked coming out.
I think Trent Scott has looked okay in the last few weeks.
But the thing that you have to understand is that this is not the Bill Belichick model. It's not the same. You're building a culture here. All right, that's the thing with Matt Rule, and there is a big difference between Matt Rule and Ron Rivera. And I got news for you. You're in better shape today than you were 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
At coach, at offensive coordinator, down the line. You just have to understand. Last year, what did you play? 8 rookies on defense at some point last year? That's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's going to be some growing pains. And there's going to be some days like yesterday. But the path to righteousness is not going to, hey, you remember that quarterback we had 3 years ago? That'd be fun. Why has every team in the league looked at him and gone, no, we're good? Oh, they don't know. We know. We know what he... No.
Because it was better than P.J. Walker.
And you know what? I have to give our former producer and great listener of this show, Ronnie George, credit. He told you in the comments 3 weeks ago. I don't think Cam Newton's better than P.J. Walker right now. And I'm going to level with you. I don't disagree with him.
Mm-hmm.
P.J. Walker is younger. What is the merit? That was always the question that I wanted to ask that nobody wanted to hear. Oh, it's more fun to watch the... Okay, that's fine. And if you remember, I looked right in that camera and I said, give me a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a few weeks and let's see how your tenor changes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I knew this was going to happen. Hey, I'm not trying to say I'm Nostradamus here. I'm just trying to say it's very predictable. How many times have you ever seen a quarterback just do you remember when Carson Palmer got traded to the Raiders mid-season? And by the end of the season, it looked fine. I think is the probably nicest way I could say it.
Mm-hmm.
That was Carson Palmer, who was on the backside of his prime. Cam Newton's prime was 3 full years ago.
This team knew they didn't have the quarterback of the future at their hands. They didn't have that person available because they had already sloughed off this season for Sam Darnold and said we're focusing on 2022. So the Cam Newton thing was just, let's bring something back to inject some life into this team.
And that is what the Jacksonville Jaguars and minor league baseball teams do.
Mm-hmm.
They give out bobbleheads and bats that you can drink beer out of and all those things. That's not what high-level franchises do. That's the reason I refuse to believe it's Rule and Federer. I just do. I think very highly of those guys. Do people like that make bad decisions? Sure. Could this have been one of them? Sure. Literally short of an audio recording of nobody knowing that it was recording, me hearing that, I'm never going to believe that.
Right.
And so now you have to just move past it. You have a ton of pieces. You are in a dog water division. And you got 2 teams that are not even in the ballpark of being competitive. The Atlanta Falcons are terrible. The New Orleans Saints are turning to Taysom Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy relevant, not real life football relevant, just so you know. And your Bucks have, Tom Brady's got 1 foot in the grave and 1 foot on a banana peel, NFL-wise.
Yeah, we got another year.
By the way, I can't remember who it was. DeForest Buckner. Did you hear what he said about Tom Brady playing until he's 44?
No.
He said, if I'm playing until I'm 44, it's because I am flat broke. I laughed at that a lot and went, you just became one of my favorite players.
Yeah. Well, at his position, yeah. You'd have to be flat broke and playing for it. At quarterback, on the other hand.
I don't care if Justin Tucker is playing when he's 44. I'm going to need you to explain that to me.
It's all for the love of the game.
Oh, yeah, dude.
All for the love of the game.
Woo. But, here's the thing. This is the overreaching mantra here. I have watched the whole roller coaster of the Carolina Panthers. Cam's back.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the same spot you were in 3 weeks ago. Nothing has changed. If you remember, we talked about this for the first 10 weeks of the season. How great a job Scott Fitterer had done. We liked Rule. We liked Brady. All of those things.
Mm-hmm.
You made a boo-boo with the Cam Newton thing. Now you just have to move past it. Get back to where you were. If Darnold's not the guy, you're going to know that soon enough. And if you build this team out, you've probably got, I would say, of your 22 starters, you probably got 11 of them, maybe 12 of them, right where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Chin, high-level player. Brian Burns, high-level player. I could do that plenty more times.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem with Carolina Panthers fans, though. And not just Carolina Panthers fans.
That's the problem with every fan base.
Yes, I was getting ready to say. That's all
specific to one fan base.
No, it's all fans. All fans, we want it now.
And here's the thing that you have to understand. And I'm going to say this because I want Panthers fans to understand, I want you to be good. There is no hate from me with the Carolina Panthers. There's none. I'm 30 years in as a Jet fan trying to find a franchise quarterback. There is one just basic tenet that you have to have to wind up with a franchise quarterback. We'll get into what that is after the commercial.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, high pressure taking over the forecast to close down November and kick off the new month of December, and some beautiful weather unfolding for us here across western North Carolina. Tonight will be the coldest night of the week. We're down to 26 degrees tonight, a little below average here in the valley, and some mid and low 20s with elevation. Tuesday, a little warmer, 58 degrees with sunshine, much warmer for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In fact, by Friday, we're talking 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Laria-Moore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923, exit 4A. Future 26 westbound, light delays between Elk Mountain Road and New Stock Road. Haywood County 40 westbound crawling between Vines Creek Road and Harmondin Road due to road construction. Airport Road near Watson Road, traffic is slow. Hendersonville Road moving incident-free. Sweeten Creek Road, no backups. On the Charlotte Highway, no problems. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Come rain or shine. High winds or mild breezes. Blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
At Ingles, we're proud to partner with Western Carolina Athletics to bring you the very best of Catamount sports. And we're also proud to bring so many great game day options to the Purple and Gold faithful, like the best meat in town, crisp fresh produce, ice-cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for the homestand, we've got you covered. Ingles, a proud sponsor of the Western Carolina Catamounts.
Over the train tracks, it's 3-0 Atlanta.
Congratulations to the Atlanta Braves.
Is this happening? It is. The Atlanta Braves are world champions.
We are the home of the Braves, ESPN Asheville.
Do you really want to go through another year with that awful joint pain? Don't do it. Resolve right now to get yourself moving again for 2022. It's time to call QC Kinetic, non-surgical regenerative treatments for joint pain. We're talking lasting results using natural biologics. No surgery, no pain meds, no steroids, and no downtime. This is really exciting stuff. Regenerative restorative treatments that actually encourage your body to heal itself using highly concentrated natural biologics. Patients rave about it for hip pain relief, knee pain relief, shoulder and back pain relief. Don't let them keep giving you steroids, and don't let them tell you your surgery is your only option. Get a free second opinion at QC Kinetics. Do it now and imagine life in 2022 without pain. Call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 828-333-9517. 828-333-9517. That's 828-333-9517.
Hey guys, I'm Ziggy, your local Philly girl, owner of Ziggy's Bakery and Deli. I've created a traditional northern deli with only the most authentic cheesesteaks outside of Philadelphia, served with provolone, white American, or Cheese Whiz. Our other classic deli sandwiches are made with the best quality meats and cheeses, available sliced by the pound. Join us for breakfast for house-made bagels with our custom cream cheeses. Or for something heartier, try a pork roll, egg, and cheese or house-cured lox. Ziggy's Bakery and Deli, in the corner of Asheville Commons, 1550 Hendersonville Road, open 8 to 3, Tuesday through Saturday.
Pernicious, adjective, having a harmful effect, especially in a gradual or subtle way. Now, Wicked Weed's flagship IPA, winner of a silver medal at the U.S. Open Beer Championships, isn't harmful unless you're a competing IPA. Brewed in the mountains of western North Carolina, Pernicious IPA will destroy your expectations for all others in its class. Pernicious IPA inspires you to enjoy fresh and often. Order up at wickedweedbrewing.com. Wicked Weed Brewing, the official craft beer of Furman Athletics. Drink different, drink responsibly.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
Oh, it is ESPN Asheville. It is the Sportsocracy, and it's time to get weird. It's the daily segment where we like to bring you just weird things that we have found on the internet. Usually tends on being crime stories.
Don't do crimes!
Don't do crimes. I don't have a crime story today. I have a thoughtful gift idea for you. The thoughtful gift idea is if you're looking for something different to get your family members this holiday season, why would you not take the opportunity to make them a lord or a lady?
What?
Yeah, you know about lords and ladies and, medieval times and all that. Landowners you were called the lord of your land.
I was about to say I know about the Lord, and I know about a little bit about ladies. Not much, working on my third marriage, so I can't say a whole lot about it.
He hasn't really unlocked that puzzle yet, but he's working on it.
Not like shooting free throws. You don't get better at it the more times you try it.
No, lordships and ladyships. It's a thing that they used to use way back in the day, but you can get your own lordship or ladyship, and it's just a low price of $50. You can go to establishedtitles.com. Establishedtitles.com. They are selling lordships and ladyships. All you have to do is just give them $50, and they will give you a 1 square foot portion of forest out in Scotland, and then you can officially claim your lordship or your ladyship.
Why do I feel like this is setting me up for my Christmas present?
No. This is my Christmas present because, I mean, I'm not calling you the Lord of anything.
You shouldn't.
But Lord Spencer has quite the little ring to it.
I love the people that watch this show so much.
Why?
Adam Black said, "Thankful Jeremy knows the Lord. I've been worried." as the resident pastor of the show,
That's right.
That was funny. I have to admit that.
EstablishedTitles.com, and you can buy these. You can buy these packs, and if it's basically just a good cause. They're trying to save woodland out in Scotland, and if you have any ties to Scotland, this would make it a little bit more appealing to you. I have family heritage in Scotland, so I'd spend $50 to own part of Scotland. I call myself Lord Tank.
A, I will never call you that.
Oh, come on.
B, if you're looking for a gift from me, I can give you a much better way to spend your $50 with my weird story. More than 60 people who went to a British pub to see an Oasis cover band ended up spending 3 nights at the facility when a snowstorm left them stranded.
Oh, great.
Andrew Healds is the co-owner of the Tan Hill Inn in Swaledale. I don't know where that is. It's somewhere in British.
England.
I am assuming
in British.
It's somewhere in British. I'm not going to lie to you. Geography was never my thing, so I know it's over there. It's that way.
I want to be the Lord of British. I can't wait for this.
This is known as Britain's highest pub at an altitude of 1,732 feet above sea level. Well, there's 3 roads in. 2 of them got snowed in.
Oh.
One of them had a down power line. So there were 60 people that came to see an Oasis cover band, of which I, for the life of me, could not name you one song Oasis ever did, not name Wonderwall.
I was getting ready to say Wonderwall.
Yep, that's because it's the only one. So an Oasis cover band, is that just Wonderwall like 14 different times? Or
yeah, pretty much. They had another one. Champagne Supernova.
Supernova. Okay. Yeah, I did. All right, I did.
See, we play 2 songs for 4 hours.
Heald said the pub, which was not affected by the down power line, was well stocked with fuel, food, and beverages before the storm. So the stranded revelers were well taken care of on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And apparently, there was one man in the crowd that was undergoing dialysis treatment. He was evacuated by a mountain rescue team. But the rest of the pub's visitors, including the Oasis cover band, were stranded until Monday morning. Wait. Look. If a team came in to get one person, why could they not get more people? Or did you have 59 people that went, so you mean I can just stay here and drink for free for the next 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
In. And apparently there was one couple that they did what I would do. This is from Nicola Townsend, the Inn's general manager. We've only got 2 of our guests left. 2 young girls who are not confident to drive on the roads as they are, so they'll stay tonight and go home tomorrow. Because apparently those 2 went, one more? Champagne Supernova? One more time? You can do it again. More free booze.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Oh, no, that sounds great. Oh, get snowed in. Are you kidding me? Get
snowed in a bar?
All right. Snowed in at the social 3 days.
Oh, I would.
How many chicken wings could we eat in 3 days? Because why is it 78 apiece?
Over.
All the Wicked Weed beers and the Ghost Pepper Carolina Reaper wings we can eat. Oh yeah, I'm all the way in. All the way in.
An Oasis cover. I'm still stuck on that. Like you weren't from Swaleville or whatever. What was it? Swaletown? Swaletown? Swaledale.
Which I guarantee you, they don't say that the same way I do. I'll guarantee you, if you went to British and said, I'm looking for Swaledale, they would go, it's at the airport. You have to go to the airport, get on a plane, and fly back to wherever that accent's from.
Go back to where you came from, Yank.
Stephen Tao said in our comments, drops of Jupiter. Never mind.
No, it was Train.
And here's the thing. If you don't know who Oasis is, and you know who Train is, imagine Train with a slightly different accent. And you go to Oasis.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Boom. That also applies for Creed, Nickelback, a series of other bands that I could put in right here.
And with Oasis?
It's all the same band.
Train?
They had like 2 songs. It'll get stuck in your head for the rest of your life. Just don't even do it. There is no doubt I will be singing Wonderwall when I go to bed tonight.
I mean, I'm still, again, trying to wrap my head around people who did not live in Swaledale and decided to go there for an Oasis cover band.
I can't answer that question. What does that set list look like?
I mean, unless you got you
Wonderwall.
open with "Don't Look Back in Anger."
Is that really an Oasis song?
Yeah.
I almost just want to see how many of these you can do before you run out of steam. Did you Google this?
Huh?
Did you Google this?
I did.
Oh.
Because I was trying to think, I think of any others off the top of my head? No,
I
can't.
To be like, I'm not sure Oasis knows they sang the song you just said.
No, that was like their third B-side hit, quote unquote.
If you had to see any cover band, all right, cover band for what band?
Any cover band?
What would really get you excited to go see a cover band?
I don't know. I mean,
I know mine without a doubt.
What?
And I would drink Wicked Weed beers and sing every song with them. Oh, it's Hootie and the Blowfish. Hootie and the Blowfish tribute band all the way in.
No.
Only Want to Be With You? Oh, yeah. I can see that happening by 11:15.
I have seen a lot of cover bands in my day.
Never seen not one.
Oh, I've seen a bunch.
I have never seen a cover band ever.
I've seen some pretty good ones. I've seen some pretty bad ones.
I'm trying to. I don't think I have ever seen a cover band of anything.
Really?
No, I didn't know what that was for the longest time. And I used to do bookings.
Zoso, the Led Zeppelin cover band, they're pretty good. There's another one. There's a Journey cover band that's pretty good. I think their name's Trial by Fire or something like that. They're all right. I'm not a cover band guy.
I say I'm not either.
Like,
I'm sure there are a lot of people that do.
I mean, they're fun if they're free, like free show at a festival or something like that. Downtown After Fives doing the Dave Matthews cover band, and
I don't know. The Rodney Carrington line just enters my head. That's like going to Disney World and Chuck E. Cheese is filling in for Mickey Mouse. That's not right.
That's actually probably the best cover band I've ever seen. It was the Dave Matthews cover band.
Oh, I was about to say Mickey Mouse or Chuck E. Cheese filling in for Mickey Mouse. That's a weird one. I don't know what that is.
Cover band's not really my thing. Like you'd have to go above and beyond, and I'm trying to even think of what that would be. Like I
am still shocked that sports freak Brian Hall has not come running down the hall at some point to tell us of a great cover band that he knows, because I know he knows one.
Oh, I bet he was in one.
Oh, that would be even better.
I'll guarantee you, Brian Hall back in the day, if he was asked to be in a Rat cover band, he would have been.
Brian Hall, he does the, first of all, he's boss man Brian Hall.
Yep.
But he also does the Sports Freaks on WWNC, 6 o'clock, an hour after us today.
Yep.
Fantastic show. If I was on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and the category was music, I might know it. I would still call him just to verify it.
Mm-hmm.
He has said things to me where I'm like, I don't even know, is that a person's name or a band name? And I mean, he's got lyrics and all kinds of things. It's incredibly impressive.
Yeah.
I am not that person.
Mac Sabbath. That's a cover band that I've always wanted to see. They dress up as the McDonald's characters and they play Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath music.
So Grimace.
Yeah. Yes, there is a Grimace. There are the Fry Guys. There's the Hamburglar on the bass. There's Ronald McDonald. Obviously, is the lead singer.
Wait, so you get Ronald McDonald as Ozzy Osbourne?
Yeah.
And why am I just finding out about this?
Oh, we'll check their schedule because they're probably coming back around here at some point. I think they played the Gray Eagle like 1,200 times.
I'm all the way in. And I want a picture with Ronald McDonald on one side and Grimace on the other side. In.
He's just a taste bud, remember. He's just a taste bud. Anyhow, rebuilding cultures in the NFL. This is what the Carolina Panthers need to do. Are Matt Rule and Joe Brady the guys for that job? They have the job currently. The fan base is really, really upset that the reason this team sucks is because Matt Rule and Joe Brady just can't figure it out at the NFL level.
And it's not. And I can tell you what it was. I can tell you exactly what it was.
Okay.
When I went, nope, this is a bad idea. When Robbie Anderson throws his helmet and goes off on Sam Darnold, that's when I went, I don't care what you do. Because you have a culture problem. And that is, look at the New York Jets, the Cleveland Browns, the Jacksonville Jaguars, on and on and on down the line. And I'm not comparing Carolina to that. I'm not, because you're not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's a culture problem. And if you don't believe me, look at Mac Jones in New England. I, this morning, had to look, again, directly in the camera and say, you know what, I was wrong about New England. I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender, and I don't really think they can win more than a game in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what would have, and I got to play this fun hypothetical yesterday while we were at the social. What would have happened if the quarterbacks were taken in a different order? What if Trevor Lawrence was in New England and Mac Jones was in Jacksonville? Do you not think it would look strikingly similar to what it is now? We'd be talking about how Trevor Lawrence, they got a quarterback for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Mac Jones would look like the inability to press the ball downfield. It's because what's around you. It's all intertwined. And when I saw Robbie Anderson, who felt like he was emboldened enough to lose his mind on the quarterback on the sideline, that told me one very simple thing. Have I ever seen that happen in New England?
Mm-mm.
No. Have I ever seen that happen in Baltimore? No. Have I ever seen that happen in Green Bay? No. And I did that for about 14 teams. And I went, that's a problem. That is exactly what Matt Rule is talking about. That cannot happen.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to change this? It's all about culture. And I will just use my personal team as an example of this. In my lifetime, we have used first-round picks on Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold, and now Zach Wilson. Guess what? First verse, same as the first. Next verse, same as the first.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time, except one of them. Chad Pennington was different. And what was different? Was he more talented? Oh, God, no. I could argue least talented of the four by light years.
Mm-hmm.
He was the best Jets quarterback. Why? Because Bill Parcells was sitting on high, and everything was done Bill's way because you had a culture. And that team went to an AFC championship game. Rex Ryan wound up with that team later down the line, still with a lot of the same pieces personnel-wise. Or not personnel-wise, front office-wise.
Front office, yeah.
That was the best tour we ever had, and it all tied right back to Bill Parcells.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's been a lot of Herman Edwards, Al Groh, Rich Kotite, Adam Gase. There's a big old difference there. One of them's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The rest of them never got another job.
Right.
I think Matt Rule is a very bright guy. I think Joe Brady's a very bright guy. I've heard the theory that Joe Burrow made Joe Brady look good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for that to be the case, you had to have the entire coaching staff of Ohio State miss Joe Burrow. And then he just randomly could have been placed anywhere on the planet Earth, and he flourished at LSU.
Mm-hmm.
So you both have to think that the LSU coaching staff, which was led by Go Tigers himself, was exponentially smarter than Urban Meyer, Ryan Day. You see how stupid that sounds when you say it out loud?
Mm-hmm.
It's because it doesn't make any sense. It's because it doesn't make a lick of sense. Joe Brady's a smart guy. He will get interviews for head coaching jobs this year. I promise you. And the Zach Taylor thing is confirming that more and more and more with me.
The
Cliff Kingsbury thing. First of all, I wouldn't hire a defensive coach under any circumstances.
Agreed.
Ever. I would never, ever, ever, ever hire a defensive coach.
Mm-hmm.
My head coach will be an offensive guy.
No doubt. I'm in the same boat.
And I will bring in the old Wade Phillips type defensive coordinator to run the defense.
I used to be the same way. I at one point in my life, I was like, you know what? Defensive coaches, that's where it's at. I want a defensive coach to lead my team.
And I want the kooky guy.
But you know what
Rex
now?
Ryan, Rob Ryan, Wade Phillips. Why is it that virtually
Jack Del Rio? I had like the biggest man crush or fan crush on Jack Del Rio for a long time, thinking he would be the greatest head coach in NFL history. Obviously, that's proven not to be true.
That didn't work out so well, now did it?
But what I'm saying is now the league has changed so much.
Mm-hmm.
Never, ever, ever will I get a defensive head coach. I will get an offensive head coach. I will get a damn good offensive coordinator who jives with the head coach.
I don't even need the coordinator.
And I need a top coordinator.
I don't even need the coordinator. I really don't. Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur. There's a series of those. Sean McVay, Cliff Kingsbury. A lot of head coaches call their own plays.
Right.
I want this to be separate but equal. Yeah, he's the head coach. This dude runs the defense, and he's a crazy person. Wink Martindale, Rex Ryan. I don't want you to be my head coach. I have no interest in you being my head coach. But can you be the wackadoodle that runs my defense? Sure you can. Sure you can.
Right.
And that is one thing that I do. I don't love Phil Snow. I don't. I know the defense has been good at times, but you have to look at who it's been good against. Yeah, Tua wasn't highly rated yesterday. He was 27 of 31. In the comments, Jason Trump said, "Isn't Mike Tomlin an offensive coach?" Yeah, but he's also been a coach for 15 years now? It's one thing if you've been a head coach in the league for this long. I'm talking about a first-time guy.
Right.
Matt Rule's a first-time head coach in the NFL. And I think he's a good one.
Bill Belichick's a defensive coach.
Yeah,
and
he's
if
been
his
around
name
for 30 years.
And if his name came available and they said, "Hey, I'm interested in taking your head coaching job," I'm
talking about first-time guys.
Exactly.
You know, the Brian Flores's of the world.
Right.
Of which,
Matt
that guy's
Eberflus.
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out.
It sounds all well and good, but I think we've just come into an era of the NFL where, you need to stay as your defensive coordinator. You need to stay as a defensive coordinator and let the offensive guys run the show. I think Bruce Arians, among all, have shown that to me as a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. I mean, we went with Greg Schiano and Raheem Morris and, Tony Dungy and he wasn't the defensive guy. That was Monty Kiffins.
And I'll be honest with you, I could argue Greg Schiano was a better coach than Bruce Arians. Sheer intelligence.
Okay, maybe I can get down with that.
Well, here's the thing. I'm watching Greg Schiano at Rutgers right now for the second time, which is probably the hardest place to recruit in America.
Right.
And are they good? No.
No.
Are they better than they should be? Yeah. I think they went 5-7. They have like UMass level talent and went 5-7 in the Big Ten.
Right.
I would argue that head coaches, I don't really care your X's and O's. Sean McVay's a great X's and O's coach. I'm not sure he's a great culture coach. Bill Belichick is the greatest culture coach that ever lived.
But how do you get the culture in Carolina?
You stay the course. That is my belief, because I do believe in Matt Rule. If you don't believe in him and David Tepper doesn't believe in him, cool, move on. I don't think you're going to like where your job fits in the pantheon of the NFL. All right, we talked about coaching jobs last week. We ranked the jobs that would be available. You're not better than Minnesota. You're not better than Denver.
But is he alpha enough? Is Matt Rule the alpha leader that can be the guy who is no nonsense, none of this talking out of line, fighting on the sidelines with each other? Is he that guy?
I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but he was very well thought of when the Jets were very interested in hiring Matt Rule. I know that definitively. He was offered the job when we hired Adam Gase. The problem was they didn't really feel great about what he was bringing along with him. That would be my path if I'm David Tepper, is you need another voice. And who that is, I don't know.
It's a tough balancing act, though, to find that guy to come in and be the stabilizing voice, but then not take over.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and it takes a very specific kind of coach. I mean, it does. But I still look at Carolina the exact same way I did 2 months ago. The only difference is that you're not making the playoffs now.
Right.
I still think your talent level is high. I think you have drafted really, really well. I think you will continue to draft really, really well. But doing a complete reset on the franchise doesn't make any sense to me. I've watched a slew of bad teams do that time and time and time again. And there's one team that, do they have it right yet? No. But you saw it yesterday, that I believe would be the perfect model for the Carolina Panthers.
Okay. Who?
It's the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns were a joke for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a joke at this point. That defense is good. That defense made Lamar Jackson look bad last night.
Yep.
And if I heard Chris Collinsworth say lurker one more time last night, blood was going to come out of my ears.
You're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville. Just a quick update on the weird news, by the way. We missed Mac Sabbath. They were at the Gray Eagle on Halloween, and we missed it.
It's just, this day is just not going my way.
That's all right. They'll be back in 6 months. We'll schedule it then.
Yes.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923 exit 4A. Light delays 40 westbound between the 26-240 split Malfunction Junction and Smoky Park Highway. 40 westbound Haywood County is stop and go between Vines Creek Road and Harmondin Road due to construction. On Airport Road near McKenna Road, seeing delays both directions. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue incident free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. I'm Lynn Benfield with your time saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hitting speed bumps in your hiring process? Streamline your route to hired with Indeed. Their hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates all in the same place. Find your next great hired and visit Indeed.com/credit.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. St. Nicholas and my family, they'll all be here.
The holidays are coming, and so are the guests. Are you sure your home's ready? Let Over the Moon Cleaning Services do the heavy lifting for you. Right now, Over the Moon is offering Sportsocracy listeners 20% off a deep clean when you schedule bi-weekly or weekly cleanings. Call them today at 585-0146 and book a free estimate. 585-0146.
At Ingles, we're proud to partner with so many athletics organizations to bring you the very best of everything sports have to offer. And we're also proud to bring so many great game day options to you crazy fans out there. Like the best meat in town, crisp, fresh produce, ice-cold beverages, and more. Whether you're loading up for that road trip or preparing for the homestand, we've got you covered. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Experience the magic at the region's #1 Christmas tradition, the Pinnacle Speedway and Lights at Bristol Motor Speedway. See almost 3 million lights on this enchanted voyage, where you can drive on the track and take in our newest attractions, like the Under the Sea Sing-Along experience and the Geico Holiday Lights Scavenger Hunt. Now through January 1st, every night from 6 to 10 p.m. Want to save time at the booth? Buy online at speedwayandlights.org.
It's Bristol, baby!
Festivals, football, the great outdoors. Some people say fall is the best time of the year. It may also be a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
This Cyber Monday, Rocket Mortgage is bringing you their biggest sale of the year. On top of near historic low rates, when you refinance, you can save an average of 20% off closing costs when you lock your rate. This means big savings for you at the closing table. You only have until November 30th to save with this great opportunity, the Rocket Mortgage Cyber Monday sale. Visit rocketmortgage.com today to see what you could save, or call 833-8ROCKET.
Call 800-490-1233 for cost information, disclosures, and conditions. Equal housing limited license in all 50 states. NMLS Consumer Access. Number 3030.
The soothing scent of Vicks Vapor Rub. It's only one of the most iconic smells ever. That cooling, comforting scent generations of families have come to trust to help them feel better. And now you trust to soothe your family. Pick up some Vicks Vapor Rub in the little blue jar and wrap yourself with the calm only Vicks Vapor Rub can bring. Vicks Vapor Rub, always there for you.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I am Clarissa Marshall with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
The Sportsocracy.
We treat star athletes better because they're better people.
Life isn't fair, kiddo. Get used to it.
Now we got Monday Night Football coming up tonight. Somebody mentioned in the comments, there's a major deal in Major League Baseball. Corey Seager is getting 10 years, $325 million from the Texas Rangers.
That's a lot of money.
Wow.
I should have been better at baseball. I should have paid way more attention to baseball.
Because Max Scherzer signing with the Mets as well for $34 million a year.
It's 40. I thought it was 43.
Or 43, excuse me.
43.
Yeah.
Flipping
it's
numbers
that whole
around.
dyslexia thing. Yeah. And that's not poking fun. I actually do have that. $43.3 million.
3.5 years we've been doing this. I never knew that.
That's why I mix up my numbers so much. That's why when you ask me things like, "Hey, off the top of your head, what do you do?" My mind just goes completely blank.
That makes me a jerk because no less than 9 times a day I go, "Hey, remember this number for a minute."
Anyway, so $43.3 million a year is what Max Scherzer is going to get from the New York Mets. So congratulations to him. He can go and not win championships there. Yay!
Well, the Rangers have spent about $11 billion, so they've added some pieces, and that's coming from a guy that does not pay much attention to baseball.
Mm-hmm. It is a free agency frenzy, but I'm still keeping my eyes on
Freddie Freeman.
Are we going to have a lockout? No, I'm more concerned about there being a lockout than anything. I can't invest much in the free agency period, namely because the Red Sox don't appear to be a player in anybody.
No, they just went.
They're just we're good. We're going to buy the Penguins.
We made the playoffs. That's fine.
They're too worried about buying the Penguins. They're not worried about adding to their baseball team.
I would totally buy a hockey team.
$900 million.
$100 You know why I don't have money like that? Because I would spend money like that.
Yes.
$1 billion for a hockey team? And if I had $10 billion, and dang it, they won't let me in the NFL. I don't have enough money.
It's not a bad way to spend your money. There's lots of promise in those franchises. But yes, we'll keep an eye on it here. But mainly, it's football season still. We got Monday Night Football tonight, obviously, coming up tomorrow. We will talk more about the college football playoff. We'll do our latest playoff rankings.
Hail to the football team. Braves on the warpath. Fight for old D.C. They're knocking out the Seahawks tonight.
That's right. Washington football team and the Seattle Seahawks. No playoff implications on the line, despite what you might hear from Max Kellerman.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Well, high pressure taking over the forecast to close down November and kick off the new month of December, and some beautiful weather unfolding for us here across western North Carolina. Tonight will be the coldest night of the week. We're down to 26 degrees tonight, a little below average here in the valley, and some mid and low 20s with elevation. Tuesday, a little warmer, 58 degrees with sunshine, much warmer for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In fact, by Friday, we're talking 70. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies.
Now is the time to shop Dell Technologies' biggest sale of the year. Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business, so shop Cyber Monday deals on Windows 11 PCs, servers, storage, monitors, and more. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Driving slow, 240 westbound between Charlotte Street and US 1923, exit 4A. Light delays 40 westbound between the 26-240 split, Malfunction Junction, and Smoky Park Highway. 40 westbound Haywood County is stop and go between Fines Creek Road and Harmondin Road due to construction. On Airport Road near McKenna Road, seeing delays both directions. Smoky Park Highway moving well. Patton Avenue incident-free. On the Charlotte Highway, no backups. I'm Lynn Benfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer. Come rain or shine. High winds or mild breezes. Blue skies or gray. It's a great time to consider getting vaccinated against COVID-19. Sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
From the Ingalls Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
It's always good to open one of these with one of these. Oh, you got to turn the board on.
It's on.
It's not, though.
It is on.
Hold on. Levels.
Aha.
I'm your Huckleberry.
There it is.
You go.
Welcome, generations, to the House of Reprehensibles. Usually these are just for members, but we didn't really plan on doing one of these today.
Right.
But, when you ask, can we do we deliver?
Hey, and I'm all here for it.
I have to do this just because I made adorable little frames, and then
you didn't use them.
I use them.
Yeah,
those take a really obnoxiously long time to make, and I just the hell with it. Let's just not.
Life after Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma's, and man, they're in a home run swing spot. You got to.
You have to. It's Lane Kiffin. You cannot do anything else.
He's the only one. He's the only one that you'll settle for.
He'd have to tell me no. I mean, literally, he would have to tell me no.
Mm-hmm.
Lincoln Riley would have to Lane Kiffin, and I would probably offer him, good God, all the money. 8 years, $100 million.
Wow.
It's $12.5 million a year. Tell me no. I mean, Ole Miss not going to give you that. They might give you that, actually.
And then immediately Arch Manning makes Oklahoma one of his finalists.
I mean, and that's to me, that's what you have to do. I mean, we're in an arms race in college football, and there are plenty of schools that are about to be left behind. In Oklahoma, if you're not careful, you will be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I just think about this with LSU. All right, LSU had Les Miles, who he was a kooky Madookie, but he could recruit. He didn't like doing it, but he always had assistants that could recruit.
Right.
Then you hire Go Tigers. -1 transfer, that was a disaster. And some of the players hated him.
Mm-hmm.
There were things that happened at LSU last year that I never could say on the ESPN radio show because they are not good.
Right.
Between, hitting on boosters' wives. I mean,
that's got to be my favorite story.
And he hit on a booster's wife, or actually, I think that was a member of the administration. She was pregnant wearing a pair of yoga pants. He hit on her at a gas station and told her not to tell her husband.
Hey, you want me to know? You know how I can get that thing out of you?
Yeah, he did. There's a way. Go Tigers. But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick right now, and y'all feel free to fire topics at us.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way the last call works. I need to make a logo for this.
Yes, you do.
I'll put it on the list of shit to do. It's been an aggressive.
It has been an aggressive, confusing day. So many things get promised. And don't deliver.
If this job was literally just talking into this microphone, we'd do it for 8 hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
I love talking sports. There are some other parts of this job that are less than fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been about 4 hours doing them in between the two shows today.
Yeah. I just don't know how Oklahoma is going to be able to keep the majority of the recruits.
Well, I mean,
You're going to
have to find somebody that wins the press conference. Because this is a really good recruiting class, and you know who would fail that aggressively? Mark Stoops.
Mm-hmm.
And Mark Stoops is a good coach. This is another thing I couldn't really say on the ESPN show. I don't give a damn how good of an X's and O's coach you are. That doesn't really matter. We are to the salesman portion of college football.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Trump said it should be the logo for last call should be a more empty beer mug.
A more empty beer mug. Just bring that down halfway.
And just bring the
skyline down.
Just bring the skyline down to where it's just suds.
That's not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea. I kind of like that.
Good for you. Good for you, Jason Trump. That's some points. Are we going to bring that back, by the way?
100%. Yeah, now that we've got, now that we have the hot wife Amy as our third, we're still figuring out how all that's going to work. But
right,
we're going to make it work.
Right,
as we do with many other things.
You finally convinced her to show up on the air to have her face on the screen, even though it didn't happen today.
No, her face was not on the screen. She dipped her toe in with a little voice.
Which completely threw me off.
Oh, which was hilarious. Tyke almost pee-peed in his pants on air.
It's like, oh, hell, I forgot there was somebody standing right there.
Hey.
I'm hearing things coming out of this ear, and then I'm not used to that. Oh, man. The college football landscape is just I think it did the college football world some good to see Jim Harbaugh be able to celebrate that win against Ohio State.
And think about this. This is how busy of a weekend it was. We did 2 shows. Mm-hmm. Now, one of them's a show that, it's very NFL-centric.
Mm-hmm.
We did 2 shows. We mentioned that one time.
And it'll be talked about tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about it more tomorrow as we talk about the college football playoff because, the question now becomes, is Michigan back?
I don't think they ever left. See, that's been the fallacy to me of this Michigan-Ohio State rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you can't beat a team that's one of the 5 best programs in the country doesn't mean you're bad. I heard somebody talking about if Harbaugh lost this game, that Michigan should have fired him. Stop.
We were talking about that before the season even started.
But that makes no sense.
This is the year that he has to pay it off, and if he doesn't, you got to cut your losses. You cut your losses and you move on. Because we're sick and tired of losing 3-4 games a year because this is not what we believe Michigan football is.
But it is what Michigan football is.
But it's not what it's supposed to be. That's the thing. It's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 1-2 losses a year. You're always in the national conversation. That's the goal. That's what they want. That's what they think they are.
Let's play a fun game. Harbaugh's been at Michigan for 7 years.
Yep.
How many double-digit win seasons does he have? And one of those was a Rona year, so they only played 6 games.
4.
It's 4.
Yeah.
He was 8-5 one year, 9-4 another year, and has been 10-plus wins every single year.
Mm-hmm.
He's 60-23 at Michigan, and 7 of those losses are to Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
6 of those losses are to Ohio State.
Yeah. They remember the good old days.
And that's and those days are gone. The days of being a year in, year out, the super conferences are going to take that away.
Mm-hmm.
They are. You're going to have a Big Ten team every year that's really formidable. This year it's Michigan instead of Ohio State. By the way, I have never been more glad in my life that I didn't send out a tweet than one I typed up and scheduled out, and I scheduled it for next Saturday. And it said there are a lot of people holding tickets that say Michigan -1 that just set money on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Because that was the initial line on this game. By the way, if you ever want to know how witchy Vegas is, they had Michigan as a favorite for a long time. Long time.
Yep.
2 weeks until this game debuted on the board. In the future market, they were a favorite.
That's because Ohio State hadn't really proved themselves.
No, it's because they saw this is the year.
Mm-hmm.
All my Vegas buddies said Michigan you should be on Michigan.
Because Michigan is a more physical team. They're a more physical team, and that's to me that's why Ohio State kept getting in the big game and getting dragged down the sidewalk because these teams were more physical than they were. And now Ohio State's got a real problem of we got to figure out how to have a defense again.
I think it was Rob Johnson said in the comments that Ohio State should fire their defensive coordinators and hire Marcus Freeman. I couldn't agree with you more. I just don't think you're going to pay him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he has higher aspirations. I don't think Marcus Freeman's taking another job that's not a head coaching job. And it very well could be this year. The thing you got to understand about the coaching landscape right now, you have had a lot of people that have said, nope, I'm staying right where I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am staying where I am comfortable. Dave Aranda, it's because he's looking around the Big 12 going, well, not going to be a lot of competition here. TCU just hired Sonny Dykes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a hire we will never talk about on an ESPN show, but Sweet Lord, you talk about a bad hire. Oh, his Paul was a coach here. He was also a coach at California, and he got run out of the building in about 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Dykes is fine at SMU. He is not a Power 5 coach. And there's going to be a lot of that. I'm not sure how much I like Jamie Chadwell at Virginia Tech. I'm still waiting for that to just break so I can go, woohoo! Had that first.
Right. But you don't think he's going to be good at the next level?
It's not that I don't think he'll be good. I don't know how good of a coach he actually is.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's fine. I think he's the best Virginia Tech can do.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather have Jamie Chadwell than Dave Clawson.
I'd agree with that.
There's just nothing to Dave. Dave Clawson fits Wake Forest. By the way, Wake Forest, if you ever really want to dig deep into what college football really is, Wake Forest has 2 fledgling power broker donors. Watch what their basketball program's about to do. Our buddy Steve Forbes is about to do big things at Wake Forest.
Really?
Yes. They have 2 huge money donors. That Clawson deal, it's a private school, so you'll never it's just like the Lincoln Riley deal. You'll never definitively know what he makes because they don't have to put it out. But public schools have to put that out because you're taking state money to pay
your employees.
Yeah. Private schools don't have to do that.
Right.
I've heard the Dave Clawson deal is stupid. I mean, 8 years, $80 million. Stupid.
Well, why would you not? If you're Wake Forest, why would you not? You're nationally relevant for the first time since the 50s?
No. Oh, God, no. Jim Grobe had them nationally relevant. They finished in the top 15, I think, twice. I think that's how high they got. I'll have to look at that.
Maybe.
I know they played in a high-level bowl. They were one of the first teams.
They won the ACC 2006.
They were one of the first teams. They were one of the first teams to make it to a what am I looking for? New Year's Day bowl that wasn't Florida State out of the ACC.
Oh, okay.
I want to say they played in the Orange Bowl. I think. Yep, Orange Bowl, 2006.
There you go.
Mac Jones says today would have been Chadwick Boseman's 45th birthday.
Oh, man. That still hurts my heart.
It does me, too.
God, he was so good. I mean, everything he's ever been in, I've loved. Him as Jackie Robinson was incredible.
Oh, and this just happened. I don't remember the guy's name with Louis Vuitton. The grace to go out when you're battling these things and nobody knows. That is insane to me. That you could find a way to do this and nobody knows. You're going through all these things.
Vontae Mack, no matter what.
It still blows my mind in the era that we're in that you could find a way that no one would know. That's just there's a grace to that, and maybe it's because we're in the media and we know how it is strikingly easier to get information than you would think it is. I don't know if that has been one of your takeaways of doing this daily show now for 2 years. And for those of you that haven't been around for the longest time, the first year we did this was the Rona year. So nobody was talking because there was nothing to talk about. The last 6 months, it has been strikingly easier to get information than I would have ever thought it was.
Right.
As 2 dudes in, what are we, in the 130th biggest media market in the country? It is shocking how easy it is to get information out of people. They won't go on record, but by God, they'll send you a text message and go, hey, just so you know.
We were talking about Wake Forest and the stupid money deal. Here, do you know how many times that Wake Forest has finished as a ranked team?
Oh, I can tell you because I'm looking at it.
In history?
As a ranked team?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
4 times since 1888.
Yep.
I mean, obviously the polls didn't go back that far, but still, of course, the guy who just took you to a top 10 ranking for the first time in school history, you're going to give him stupid money.
Yeah, he almost
because he's going to go somewhere else.
He was 6-18 his first 2 years. This is the first time he's ever won double-digit games. Never got to 9, and now you're talking about an $8, $9, $10 million coach.
Yep.
Mel Tucker. This is one thing that we haven't talked about the Mel Tucker thing a lot because it's really far from here. When that number broke, it broke the brains of a lot of people that give me a lot of the fodder of what at least what I talk about on this show. It broke people's brains. And there was a thought that
what was the number?
8 years or 10 years, $95 million. All guaranteed. Every cent of that deal is guaranteed.
Yeah.
And there was a thought that NFL teams were going to come calling on him and that he might listen. The LSU was going to be interested. A couple other schools were going to be interested, but still. Michigan State, that's another school that has big money donors.
Mm-hmm.
Big. That's what kept Tom Izzo there as long as he has.
Yep.
Tom Izzo took the Atlanta Hawks job and backed out. Because in the time he accepted it verbally, till the time it took him to get on the tarmac, to get on a plane to fly it to Atlanta, the brokers had shown up to just cut a blank check.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Back in the, what was it, late 2000s? Maybe early 2010s?
Mm-hmm.
College football's a weird thing, man.
Yeah, but once you get a guy who you think is the guy, you got to lock him down if you're a program that feels like you're going to be pilfered.
I will say I think that Mel Tucker deal is going to age like a dairy product.
I don't know. I'm not so certain about that.
Okay, let me just ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
How many programs in the Big Ten do you think are long-term better than Michigan State? And why is it 6?
6?
I mean, just be honest with yourself. Michigan,
mm-hmm.
Ohio State, Penn State, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. I could argue Purdue, and I could argue Nebraska. I could argue every one of those jobs is better than the Michigan State job. Minnesota is markedly better. There's a reason P.J. Fleck ain't leaving.
Mm-hmm.
They spend a boatload of money in facilities. P.J. Fleck, by the way, that's another guy. If I had an opening, hey, P.J., what number will make you feel pretty? How much monies do I have to pay you for you to bring your boat, and your cute little ties to my city? I think he's a top. I think he's a top 8 coach in America.
But those other programs aren't untouchable for Michigan State.
Michigan is, Ohio State is,
Mm-hmm.
Penn State is, Iowa is, Wisconsin is. I think all 5 of those are untouched. Michigan State is never passing them.
They're never going to be better than them.
Nope. Iowa spends a boatload of money.
Mm-hmm.
Way more than people think they do. There's a reason they've been nationally relevant for 25 years in basketball and football.
Mm-hmm.
That is always really telling. If you want to know what schools spend a shitload of money, look at who's good at both. That is very telling of what kind of donors you have.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State. You want to know why Florida State's not as good in football as they used to be? Because they don't spend as much money as they used to. They don't have the level of money that you think they do.
Mm-hmm.
And they converted a lot of that to the basketball team when Leonard Hamilton started winning games.
Which is odd. Which is just odd, seeing as how many big-time football players have come out of that program.
Oh, the money was there.
Mm-hmm.
The money was there.
But that's what I'm saying,
that
the money hasn't come back into the program.
Because it was old money.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State had a ton of old money that came up with Bobby, and now, those trusts are in the hands of kids, and they don't care. Florida State had a big problem that a lot of their boosters were Bobby Bowden's age.
Mm-hmm.
And now a lot of them have passed away, and they're the people controlling the trust, they just don't care.
Right.
I mean, they still have brokers, don't get me wrong, but they don't have a Phil Knight, the Under Armour guy at Maryland. Maryland, that's another team. I will never understand why they're not better at everything than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Why that football team is 6-6, I will never understand. The basketball team's been good for 30 years. Now, they haven't had a Gary Williams level coach, which I still don't understand. I don't get how that job opened up and you wound up with Mark Turgeon.
Mm-hmm.
Not a bad coach. I just don't understand how somebody that spends that much money
couldn't have got something better.
That Bruce Pearl. I never understood how you didn't make a run at somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a little tarnish off of him, but still a great coach.
Right.
Bruce Pearl's a great coach.
Yeah,
Problem is he leaves everything that he touches on fire.
Right.
The Auburn. Yeah, look what happens when he leaves Auburn. I'm just you take that for what it's worth.
Mm-hmm.
That building will be just pouring flames by the time he leaves.
Right.
I have a lot of bones of contention with Bruce Pearl. I like him. I think he's a really, really good coach.
Mm-hmm. He just skirts the rules.
Yeah.
He skirts. He's all about the now.
And I think he's a very nice guy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he's a great guy. I met him and interviewed him a couple of times when I worked in Memphis. We were the Tennessee affiliate and, had connections with the basketball program. He's a great guy. Great guy to sit down and just talk shit with. But he's got that way about him.
He's a little fast and loose.
Exactly. sending a little too many text messages and stuff like that. It's fine. It's fine. Mac Jones says the Warriors have assigned Klay Thompson and James Wiseman to the G League affiliate. Yeah, I think the rest of the NBA is in for a rude awakening when Klay Thompson comes back.
Well, I mean, you get Klay back, you've still got Draymond.
Right. And Steph Curry's having the best season possibly of his entire career.
I want you to think about what I'm getting ready to say. All right, I got to pull up a box score for Golden State. Boop. I'm just going to use their most recent game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so they played the Clippers. I don't know what day this was. It was recent. 13 guys played, and they blew the Clippers out.
Mm-hmm.
Moses Moody played 3 minutes. Jonathan Kuminga played 3 minutes. Do you realize how good those two players are?
Mm-hmm.
James Wiseman, not even on the roster. That is 3 pieces that are basically contributing nothing to this team
mm-hmm.
that you could get just a fortune for. I'll put it this way. Those 3 players with a couple draft picks, you can get any player in this league.
Mm-hmm.
There is not a player in the NBA, outside of maybe Giannis or Luka, that you could not get. You want to go get Joel Embiid? They'd give him up for that.
Really?
100% they would. That is 3 high-end lottery picks plus a couple more malleable draft pick pieces. 100% they would. They give up anything you want. There are people that think Kuminga 3 years from now is going to be an all-star. There are people that think Moses Moody is going to be a high-level scorer and James Wiseman's the best big that's come out in 5 years.
Are they still calling him the cum bucket? Because that's just...
I don't think that was really actually a thing.
It trended for a while, and I went, "Oh, don't do that."
Yeah, I don't think that was actually a thing. That was a social media generated bullshittery. But I mean, the Warriors are insane.
Funny. I'll give them that.
I mean, the Warriors are insane. They're 6 man's Otto Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, I know things didn't go well for him in Chicago, and you know the end in Washington wasn't pretty. He's still a great player.
Oh yeah, he had his moments in Washington.
Nemanja Bjelica, one of my favorite. He's been a little darling of mine for quite some time.
Oh, for like
Stephen Tao said, would they take Simmons instead? For one of those, I will give you one of those and 1 draft pick, and you figure out the money. LSU's supposedly targeting Brian Kelly. I'm telling you, it's gonna be Jimbo Fisher,
which is stupid.
Scott Woodward can't get off of it. He cannot get away from it. That he built that out in Texas A&M, and surely to God, I've got enough money that I'm going to get Jimbo Fisher out of LSU.
God.
Or out of Texas A&M, I mean. I will tell you this. If you try to outspend Texas A&M, that is a fool's errand.
Yeah.
That is a school that has a bajillion dollars.
Who?
Texas A&M.
Oh, yeah.
If they were somehow able to procure Brian Kelly, first of all, that's a home run hire. Nobody wants to talk about Brian Kelly because he's, they're an independent, and Brian Kelly's a home run hire.
But would he leave Notre Dame to go take a job?
There's always been a thought that he would leave Notre Dame. I always heard it was for a pro job. Do I think he's going to LSU? No, I don't. I think that's one of those. That's one of those.
That's what I'm saying. There's not another job in college football that I would leave Notre Dame for.
All right, so it's funny this came up. Let me explain to you how shit like this happens. We've got sources, we got people telling us shit. This is how things like that happen. All right, so I've been hearing for a week that LSU is not. It's not the Dave Aranda thing. It's not. It's not a hire that makes sense. They want to go big game hunting. They're looking at their job much the way USC did. All right, so USC was seeing the James Franklins. There's a reason that just think about how many coaches we've talked about that would be good fits for jobs. By the way, this is why I killed Florida for firing Dan Mullen. Dan Mullen's a better coach than Billy Napier, and nobody will ever convince me otherwise. And somebody's going to hire him. Somebody, and I'm telling you right now, you take this for what it's worth. Brian Harsin may be the next coach at Washington. There are other people they're looking at. If Brian Harsin leaves Auburn, I will bet you anything you want to bet the next coach at Auburn is Dan Mullen. Because they know they boo-booed with Gus Malzahn. They know it. I've heard that from more than one person that is infinitely better connected down there than I am.
Right.
The way these rumors start is that people start saying LSU's just throwing money everywhere. That's why every person connected to that job has gotten an extension. Because they're throwing out money that's so stupid that they're going, I don't want to leave, but I can't turn this down.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about, all right, so use Aranda, for example. I don't remember how much. I looked this up earlier because I was going to talk about this on the show. But I'm really glad Justin Parton said this. Dave Aranda's salary this year at Baylor was $2.5 million. LSU was probably coming with $8 minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard they didn't even make that aggressive of a play on him. They're probably coming at Brian Kelly with 15. Now, do I think that's actually happening? No, because this is how this happens. You start hearing what I've already heard, which is LSU is just throwing stupid money at everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those guys start getting extensions. What happens when you get the guy that they won't match it? Because that's what happened to Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley gave Oklahoma the chance to match what USC did, and they told him to go fuck himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he had done that with LSU. He tried his best to get Oklahoma to give him the money. That's why the thing that you said where, he's dodging the competition. No, he wanted to stay at Oklahoma. Problem is they wouldn't come in that ballpark of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm afraid they're going to wind up with somebody like Mark Stoops. And you'll see Oklahoma fall off a cliff. The way these things happen is, LSU's coming with stupid money. Okay, well, who could you possibly throw stupid money at? You're not getting Nick Saban. You're not getting Dabo Swinney, and even though that's been rumored, if you remember early in the LSU process, that was, they're going to run a Dabo. There's only so many coaches you can throw stupid money at. So you start hearing that, and you just start piecing them together. You're playing match game, hoping you're right. I don't foresee that. I've always been told that the only job that Brian Kelly would leave for would be in the NFL.
Right.
He does want to do the NFL thing.
I think that's the thing that makes the most sense. Is Brian Kelly going to the NFL?
I've always said that is that Brian Kelly's just a guy that wants to prove he can do it everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Notre Dame's just a place that you don't. I mean, when you have success like he has, you don't leave.
Well, and that's the thing. And I'll tell you this. And look, I'm getting super speculative here. There is one job I have long been told is the golden amulet for Urban Meyer, and it's Notre Dame. He turned them down when he went to Florida because they weren't in they weren't in nearly as good of a position. Now they are. So there are a lot of pieces in this coaching. That's why we've talked about it so much. There are a lot of pieces that could still move here because I'm telling you, there's another big name moving. You can believe me or not. That's totally up to you. There's another big name going to move. Who it is, I don't know.
But that would be Jimbo going to LSU.
It's Jimbo-level coach. There will be a coach that level move before this is all said and done. Because they're all partnering up. They're all looking at this going, if we don't have that guy that can go into houses and get mom and dad and get the kid and get Grammy and Grampy and everybody else on board with them, we're in trouble.
I'm wondering where the next generation comes from.
Of coaches?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a slew of guys. One guy we've already talked about, Marcus Freeman. He'll be a great head coach.
But that's the thing, as the society gets more and more driven by social media and marketing deals and name, image, and likeness and all of that, these older ball coaches, they're going to fall by the wayside. They're no longer going to appeal to young coaches like Nick Saban.
Nick Saban.
I mean, he's not going anywhere, huh?
Nick Saban does a better job of that than anybody.
I'm just saying of that era. Of the Jimbo Fishers, the Nick Sabans. How old do you
think Jimbo Fisher is?
God, he's got to be 63.
55.
Really?
Yeah.
God, he looks old.
Oh, 56. Sorry, I looked at the year wrong.
God, he looks old.
He just turned 56.
I don't know. I feel like there's a shift coming.
Stephen Tao asked, Kellen Moore being targeted for any college jobs. I know people have called. He's not interested.
No.
If he was going to be interested, it would have been at Boise State a year ago. He knows all he has to do is just keep doing what he's doing. He will either be the replacement to Mike McCarthy or he will get a high-end NFL job. Kellen Moore will be stupidly in demand this year. He will get an offer this year, I promise you, especially if Dallas doesn't make it deep in the playoffs. That's one of the things you have to be careful with, and I've laughed at this. The NFL has boxed themselves into a problem, and I don't know how they're going to fix it. You got too many teams to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
All the good teams play forever. So these high-level, it's like Byron Leftwich
but I thought
and
they
Todd Bowles.
changed that. I thought they changed the rule where you can talk to coaches
You
now.
can talk to them, but you can't hire them. You can't hire them until the team's out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like Luke Fickell. The reason Luke Fickell's not going to get a job because the team is still going to be playing until the middle of January. No team's waiting on that.
Mm-hmm.
No, but not for him. I mean, it'd be one thing if you're waiting on Urban Meyer that you know can come in 3 weeks and just start talking to coaches he already knows.
Right.
Hey, I'm at Notre Dame or wherever. Convince your kid.
Okay.
There's a big difference between that and Luke Fickell.
Mm-hmm.
But guys like Eric Bieniemy, the reason everybody tries to make it about race, it's not about race. It's A, there's a lot of questions about him because of Matt Nagy.
Mm-hmm.
B, he's been in the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. He was a nobody 3 years ago.
Yep.
Kansas City gets knocked out in the first round this year. Guess what? It'll be him.
Mm-hmm.
Evan Doyle said, friend of mine who works for Virginia Tech Athletics just told me it's down to Marcus Freeman and Jamie Chadwell. It's Marcus's job if he wants it, apparently. I did not hear Marcus Freeman, but I was definitively told that Jamie Chadwell was the guy.
By the way, I'm just seeing this. Boston College and Jeff Hafley have agreed to a 5-year contract extension.
Because there were a couple teams calling on Hafley.
Mm-hmm.
Hafley was popular on the West Coast for some damn reason.
He was the one that I wanted to see who ended up at Penn State. Had James Franklin gone.
Hafley's going to get another job.
Mm-hmm.
Hafley's going to get a big boy job. Yeah, you were talking about where's that next generation going to come from? Jeff Hafley's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marcus Freeman's one of them. I don't know that Marcus Freeman wants the Virginia Tech job. And it's not a slight at Virginia Tech. That's who he is. He's a different cat. He's a Midwest cat. He's such a good coach. If Marcus Freeman takes the Virginia Tech job, it's because he definitively knows Luke Fickell's staying put at Cincinnati. Because that's the job that has always made sense to me.
I just can't make those two things meet in my head of where Luke Fickell would land now.
Well, the problem is you'd have to find somebody that was willing to wait on him because he's going to be playing on New Year's Day in the playoff. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to hire him until the 2nd. So, I mean, now you're talking about over a month where you're getting negatively recruited against. Now, we'll tell you this. If they don't make the playoff, fuck around and find out.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody will come at Luke Fickell with dumb money. Who it would be, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of the jobs that were open, and I can't really see him. I can't see him coaching in the SEC.
Fickell?
Mm-hmm.
It just depends. You follow the money. I'm telling you, this is an arms race.
I mean, Miami in the ACC, they could make a run at Luke Fickell.
Miami's going to make a run. If Miami fires Manny Diaz, which they're not going to do until they hire an AD,
mm-hmm.
which I think is going to put them behind the 8 ball and probably put him there.
If Mac Brown decided to call it quits at Carolina, I could see Luke Fickell being in that race.
One. And I'm telling you, I've heard that so many times that I can't.
That Mac is going to retire.
Yeah, and look, you can't really be much more connected than we are to Carolina. I haven't heard anybody willing to go on the record saying that.
No,
they're saying that Mac looks tired. This has been a long year, but it always comes back to does he want it to end this way?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I can't wrap my brain around.
You know the answer is no. You know the answer to that is no.
What, does he want it to end this way?
Right.
Well, the question is, does he want it?
Does he want it to stop?
Well, does he want it bad enough?
Mm-hmm.
And does he think that there is a better chance of this team being better next year? Because here's what you have to think about in the ACC. Clemson ain't going to be this as bad as they were this year. That ain't happening again.
No.
Florida State is on the rise. I mean, they're still 2 years away,
mm-hmm.
but they've brought in 4 quarterbacks in 2 classes.
Right.
They're going to hit on one of these guys, and there is a lot of talent. And Mike Norvell kills the transfer portal.
Mm-hmm.
Jermaine Johnson was a guy that didn't have. I mean, he had interest. It wasn't a ton of like Florida State level interest. That's a guy that's going to go at the back end of the first round, beginning of day 2 in the draft.
Yeah,
and that's a guy he just plucked out of the transfer portal. The ACC is it will be markedly tougher next year than it was this year.
Mm-hmm.
The ACC was right there with the Pac-12 this year. That ain't going to happen again. So I'm, and for me, some of this is reading tea leaves
mm-hmm.
of Evan Doyle, he knows Virginia Tech infinitely better than anybody I have ever met. Seemingly like every word that comes out of his mouth is right.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that's going to be Jamie Chadwell. I don't think Marcus Freeman's taking a job like that. It's out of his footprint. And so he would have to, I think they would have to give him a lot of platitude with his staff. And I don't know that Virginia Tech's going to do that.
No. There's still a lot of shakeup to come in college football. We got jobs that have not been filled. LSU is obviously a huge one that still has to drop. But the domino effect could be great.
Yeah, because like I said, I think there's another big domino left to fall.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of like playing Jenga. All right, Lincoln Riley was a big and depending on who takes that job, it could be a huge domino to come out of the bottom of this.
Mm-hmm.
That just makes everything go. I believe there's another one, and I can't tell. There are two that just scream to me, and one of them is Mario Cristobal.
Mm-hmm.
As I got news for you, that job opens up again. Oregon will go for blood. I mean, they will throw money
that could be a Luke Fickell job.
I could see him making the run at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just solely because I don't know who it would be. But they would go. I mean, Oregon would go Brian Kelly.
That's the other one that I was thinking.
They would go stupidly high.
Mm-hmm.
Because Phil Knight started doing this.
And the more I think about it, I mean, Brian Kelly has been super successful at Notre Dame, but maybe you do get to that point. Maybe you do get to that point where it's just too much. It's too hard to recruit to Notre Dame because of their academic standing and all of that.
It's always been said that the recruiting wears on Brian Kelly. That's why it's the tea leaves have kind of always said that if he left, it would be for the NFL.
What's the NIL going to look like with Notre Dame? I mean, that's another question you have to ask yourself. How are they going to handle that? I mean, obviously it's going to be allowed, but is the Catholic school really going to get all deep in NIL endorsement deals?
Yeah, are they going to let you take some of those sketchier deals?
And the answer to that's no.
No,
I think.
I mean, you got to think about all these things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that play in this.
And if Oregon comes calling with the Nike money, how can you say no?
I'm just telling you, if Oregon comes open, you will see names come out of the woodwork that you have because Phil Knight doesn't want to do this again.
Right.
You understand, this would be let's see, since Chip Kelly left, they fired, I always forget this guy's name.
Willie Taggart?
No, Willie Taggart got pilfered by Florida State. Thanks for bringing that up, you douche. What the hell is it? I can see his stupid face. Oh, this is going to bug the
fire.
Mark Helfrich.
Oh, yeah.
Helfrich, the one that was on Chip Kelly's staff and left, or got fired.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be Taggart and Cristobal that you've lost in 5 years. He ain't doing this again.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be mama calls. This is going to be a big, big amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't believe me, look at their basketball coach. How many teams have called on Dana Altman? How many teams have allegedly hired Dana Altman? I bet I've heard it 4 times in the last 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
What happens every single time?
Extension
Mm-hmm. With more money.
Mm-hmm.
Because they got all the money in the world. You got Papa Phil that's just printing checks.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was sad news about Dalvin Cook.
Yeah,
Mac Jones.
This has been a shitty day if you picked at a very high in fantasy football draft.
Oh God,
our 1 and 2 both done, not done for the year, but Dalvin Cook's done
for at least 2 weeks.
You missed the first week of the playoffs in fantasy football.
Mm-hmm. At least 2 weeks for Dalvin Cook. They still haven't decided whether or not they're going to put him on IR.
And here's just. You can take this for what it's worth.
Hey, did you pick up Alexander Madison like I told you to 17 times? You should have.
Yeah. Do you know they play next week? The Detroit Lions.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
Yeah, he's a must-play on DraftKings. I haven't even looked at the pricing because I don't care. I don't care what it costs.
Yeah. And, of course, we'll have all of the updates for you, all of the tips and tricks and all of that coming your way in the Sportsocracy. Thanks for joining us for this last call. We are going to call it a night.
Because I'm ready to go home.
Yeah. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. here in the Sportsocracy. Hit that subscribe button, share it out with your friends as well, and we will see you right here bright and early tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
I'm your huckleberry.